Chapter 33-31. Kill on top in front of the grotto heaven. The 8 rank 9 supremacies from the Light Clan and the 9 Candles demon race glared at the people from the cursed spirit village. Their expressions were extremely awkward. The 2 races had paid a huge price for this blessed grotto heaven. From the moment they found this grotto heaven to the moment they charged in from the surrounding wild beasts, they had lost hundreds of supremacies and used up a lot of treasures. But now, it was occupied by the cursed spirit village that they had always looked down on. This made their faces darken. Hee. The people from the cursed spirit village lifted their heads slightly and looked at them with disdain and contempt. They had nothing to fear now. With a group of mechas, they would attack anyone who dared to compete with them. Once they killed them, the other party would not be able to live. The curse that they hated in the past had now become their trump card. At the back, Wang Xian saw this scene and squinted his eyes. With a swift movement, he no longer concealed himself and flew over. Wang Xian's appearance attracted the experts from the Light Clan and the 9 Candles demon race. They looked over with flickering eyes. Dragon King! An expert from the 9 Candles demon race shouted. Wang Xian nodded at them. He did not have much dislike for the Light Clan and the 9 Candles demon race. Although they were competitors, it was considered a fair competition. Whoever was more powerful would occupy this place. If the Dragon Palace was more powerful, the Light Clan and the 9 Candles demon race would not compete with them. Similarly, Wang Xian's side was the same. Perhaps the other party did not have much of an opinion on who occupied the place. However, they had a strong opinion on the cursed spirit village, especially when the other party attacked them with mechas at the beginning. 3 rank 8 supremacies from the Light Clan and the 9 Candles demon race were killed because of that. This was a huge feud for the Light Clan and the 9 Candles demon race. Wang Xian was disgusted by them as well. Cursed spirit village. You bunch of cursed people want to occupy this place. You will pay the price in the future. Our 3 races will find a way to annihilate you. An expert from the Light Clan looked at Wang Xian and said with a sullen face, Ha. You want us to pay the price? You dogs, I don't care if you have 2 or 3 races. If you have the guts, I'll come and destroy you. If you don't have the guts, then scram. Don't disturb us here. At the back, a middle-aged man with a cursed spirit cursed loudly. That's right. What's the point of just standing here? All of you are peak experts of the great desolate continent. If you have the guts, come and kill us. Scram if you don't dare, you bunch of trash. As soon as the middle-aged man finished speaking, the young man beside him also scolded mockingly. They stared at Wang Xian and the group of experts in front of them with ferocious and excited faces. Scolding the experts of the 3 major races was simply too satisfying, especially since the other party didn't dare to attack them. Upon hearing their words, Wang Xian's eyes turned cold. He sneered, Do you really think I can't do anything to you? The Dragon King of the Dragon Palace, right? I know you, but we don't care if you are the Dragon King or whatever. Don't shoot your mouth off here. Fight if you have the guts, idiot. A young man stared at Wang Xian, lifted his head slightly and spoke with disdain. Damn it. Upon hearing their insults, the 9 experts from the Light Clan and 9 Candles demon tribe were embarrassed. They were all peak experts of the great desolate continent and had never met anyone who dared to humiliate them like this. However, there was nothing they could do in the face of such humiliation. However, as soon as the young man finished his words, Wang Xian moved. In a flash, he came to the side of the young man. When the young man saw Wang Xian appearing in front of him, he was taken aback and broke out in cold sweat. What's wrong? You're flustered and exasperated. Come at me if you have the guts, trash. However, in the next moment, the young man pointed at Wang Xian and sneered. The people of the cursed spirit village looked at the scene coldly. Dragon King, don't be rash. Behind, the experts from the Light Clan and 9 Candles demon tribe were shocked and immediately reminded Wang Xian. Bam! Wang Xian looked at the young man who was staring at him with disdain. With a smile, Wang Xian extended his arm and grabbed the young man's neck. You! Kill me if you have the guts. The young man's face turned red instantly as he stared at Wang Xian with hatred. Dragon King, I advise you not to offend our cursed spirit village. Our cursed spirit village isn't afraid of you. If you don't want endless troubles in the future, you'd better scram now." The old lady at the side stared at Wang Xian and said coldly. Even though Wang Xian was just inches away from them, they weren't fearful at all. "Oh." Wang Xian smiled. "Ah." At this moment, the young man who was grabbing Wang Xian's neck let out a miserable scream. Layers of flames appeared on his body and burned his body bit by bit. The dark tattoos gave off a creepy glow and surged towards Wang Xian. "What?" Behind, the experts from the Nine Candles Demon Tribe and Light Clan were shocked when they saw Wang Xian attacking the people of the Cursed Spirit Village. Was this a mutual destruction? However, when the curses spread to Wang Xian, the Tai Chi dragon plate around him began to spin. The power of the curses surged towards the Tai Chi dragon plate and was absorbed bit by bit. Arg! The young man continued to scream as the flames released by Wang Xian burned his body bit by bit. A first-order god emperor dared to scold him? How dare he be so arrogant in front of me? Relying on the curse? What? At this moment, the people from the Cursed Spirit Village were shocked to see Wang Xian torturing their fellow villagers bit by bit. When they saw that Wang Xian wasn't affected by the curse, their expressions changed drastically. Why isn't the Dragon King affected by the power of the curse? The experts from the Light Clan and Nine Candles Demon Tribe narrowed their eyes when they saw this. Torturing a cursed person in such a manner would definitely cause him to be attacked by the power of the curse. However, the Dragon King didn't seem to be affected at all. "Come on, continue your scolding." Wang Xian looked at the young man in front of him and sneered. Clatter. As he spoke, chains spread out in all directions, trapping the hundreds of people from the Cursed Spirit Village. "Today, I'm going to slaughter all of you bit by bit. I want to see if the power of the curse has any effect on me. I'm also curious to see if you will still be as arrogant as you were just now." Wang Xian said emotionlessly with a faint smile on his face. The flames spread to the rest of the experts from the Cursed Spirit Village. Chapter 33-32. Kill below Arg, how can this be? Why aren't you attacked by the curse? When the flames engulfed everyone in the Cursed Spirit Village and they felt excruciating pain, the villagers panicked. They stared at Wang Xian in horror and shouted in disbelief. The other party had attacked them, and the curse had already retaliated. Why was nothing happening to the other party? Their curses seemed to be useless against the other party. Curse? Do you really think you are invincible just because of the curse? Hee. Wang Xian stared at them and sneered. Now, enjoy the torture of the sea of fire. He smirked as the flames engulfed them bit by bit. Arg! Miserable screams came out from their mouths. Hundreds of people from Curse Village were screaming in fear. At this moment, they were filled with despair. Wang Xian stood there quietly as he felt the attack from the curse. To his satisfaction, the Tai Chi dragon plate had blocked all the curse power. This brought a smile to his face. That Dragon King blocked the attack from the curse. How did he do it? I don't know. It should be the defensive treasure around him. Impressive. Ha. Good. Good kill. Let them die in pain and despair. The experts from the Light Clan and the Nine Candles Demon Tribe were shocked and bewildered when they saw this. But what they all had in common was that their faces were filled with excitement. They had long been furious at the damned Cursed Spirit Village villagers. Now that Wang Xian had killed them, they could finally vent their anger. The blood-curdling screams rang out incessantly for a full half an hour. Wang Xian stood there and watched quietly. This was the first time he had killed someone so slowly. As they died one by one, Wang Xian saw a flash of white light on a few of their corpses. His eyes sparkled as he looked at the white light. This white light was somewhat familiar. The last time he killed a Universe Supremacy Rank 8 Desolate Beast, a white light flashed across the Desolate Beast's body. Apart from that, when he killed the middle-aged man from the Deep Swamp race, there was a flash of earthy yellow light after his death. This meant that the other party might not be completely dead yet. Instead, he had used the treasures to allow his soul to escape. Could it be he had some conjectures in his mind, and his eyes sparkled. So. Not long after the white light disappeared, many mechas flew over from the depths of the blessed enclave. In the middle, the three mechas unleashed horrifying attacks towards Wang Xian. Oomph! Wang Xian looked at the mech with a cold gaze. Last time, he didn't attack because he was afraid of the power of the curse. But this time, he didn't have the slightest scruple. Buzz! Wang Xian made a move. The unbeginning sacred wings appeared behind him with the Tai Chi dragon coil spinning. His palms morphed into dragon claws as he struck out at the 100-odd mechas. Kill him. The three level 8 universe supremacy mechas in the middle roared with hatred. Beams of horrifying light shrouded Wang Xian. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Wang Xian did not dodge. Instead, he faced it head-on. Rumble. When the three terrifying attacks landed on Wang Xian, the Tai Chi Dragon Plate instantly blocked the attacks of the mecha. On the Tai Chi Dragon Plate, the black part of the plate gave off a strange glow. A black recoil force shot towards the three mechas. Dodge. The three mechas instantly calculated the strength and speed of the recoil force and dodged to the side. Boom, 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 boom. At this time, hundreds of mechas surrounded the three mechas and attacked Wang Xian. Oh no, the Dragon King is alone, but there are 3 level 8 universe supremacies among the group of mechas. The experts from the Light Clan and 9 Candles Demon Tribe said in a deep voice as they looked at the group of mechas. However, they didn't dare to go over to help. If they did, they would be the ones dying. Humph, I'll kill all of you today. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with coldness. With the defense of the Tai Chi Dragon Coil, he had no scruples at all. Facing the enveloping energy, he flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and attacked one of the level 8 universe supremacy mechas. Rumble. He pushed his speed to the limit. That level 8 universe supremacy mecha couldn't dodge at all. Wang Xian dashed over and landed his dragon claws on it. The immense force caused the mecha to tremble. What a strong defense! Wang Xian squinted his eyes and the 5 elements grind appeared above him. Bam, bam, bam. The 5 elements grind collided with the mecha and all kinds of energy crushed it. Ka. The mecha began to crack and crumble. Wang Xian moved, turned around instantly, and attacked the other mech. Oh no, we calculated that the opponent's defense is strong. Our mechas can't break through it. Retreat. One of the mechas calculated Wang Xian's terrifying defense and shouted in anger. Can you escape? Wang Xian locked his eyes on the mechas with murderous intent. Level 8 universe supremacy mechas were different from other living beings. If they wanted to escape, they could only rely on flying. They couldn't return to their holy kingdom directly. Wang Xian relied on his speed and dashed to the front of another level 8 universe supremacy mecha. Divine Dragon Shadow. Break it. A huge shadow of a divine dragon charged towards the mech in front of him. At the same time, Wang Xian grabbed the mecha with his dragon claws to prevent it from escaping. No matter how the mecha attacked, he didn't move an inch. On the contrary, the counterattack from the Tai Chi Dragon Disc caused the mecha to crumble faster and faster. Ka. Boom. Soon, the second level 8 universe supremacy mecha was destroyed. This Dragon King's strength is terrifying. His speed is terrifying, and his defense is terrifying. He's too strong. Isn't his strength close to a level 9 universe supremacy? The 9 experts from the Light Clan and 9 Candles Demon Tribe were shocked when they saw Wang Xian's ferocious attack. If they were in Wang Xian's shoes, they could only escape when 3 mechas of the same level attacked at the same time. However, the Dragon King had destroyed 2 of them in just a few seconds. The speed and defense that he had displayed had them in awe. They couldn't help but suspect that it would be difficult to defeat the Dragon King even if the 9 of them joined forces. No wonder the Shaman Kingdom would lower their heads. He's too strong, they exclaimed in their hearts. He wasn't afraid of the power of curse and could unleash such terrifying strength. Such an enemy was too terrifying. Chapter 33:33. Run. He's strong. Let's run. Retreat. Retreat now. Within the Blessed Land, the mechas controlled by the Cursed Spirit Village screamed in panic. The Cursed Spirit Village wasn't weak at all. 3 rank 8 universe supremacy mechas, in addition to their eerie power of curse. With their strength, they were considered relatively powerful existences at the edge of the great desolate continent. However, Wang Xian was stronger and even more eerie. When the 2 rank 8 universe supremacy mechas were destroyed by Wang Xian, the remaining experts of the cursed spirit village fled in horror. 8 dragon doppelgangers, kill! Wang Xian bellowed. Dragon doppelgangers flew out from his body and attacked the group of universe supremacies. No, no. The mechas sensed the energy behind them. They turned around and were horrified. Shit. With these mechas around, we can't escape back to our holy kingdom in an instant. The group of cursed spirit village members were in despair as they saw the terrifying attack coming from behind them. Boom, boom, boom. Sounds of mechas exploding could be heard. Wang Xian squinted his eyes, locked on to the rank 8 universe supremacy mecha, and continued his attack. No, people of the cursed spirit village, run now, run now. That Dragon King is too strong. You must avenge me in the future. Avenge me. The face of the cursed spirit village member who was driving the rank 8 universe supremacy mecha was flushed red when he saw Wang Xian chasing after him. He bellowed in indignation. Their cursed spirit village was on the verge of rising and had even occupied the blessed land. Yet, they had not expected to meet such a strong enemy. His eyes were bloodshot as he reminded the people in the center of the blessed land. The strength of the Dragon King was not something that the cursed spirit village could handle. What? Damn it! That Dragon King could withstand our power of curse. Now, even the deputy chief and the rest are no match for him. Run! An old man bellowed and ordered loudly. Chief, are we going to give up on this place? We've paid a huge price to occupy it. In the center of the blessed land, a group of people stood there with indignation. To the people of the cursed spirit village, this was their holy land. In order to occupy this natural paradise, they had made a huge deal with the Iron and Steel Union and paid a huge price. If they gave up on this place now, all their efforts would be in vain. Leave immediately. If we don't give up this place, the Dragon King will kill us all. The chief of the cursed spirit village roared with a stern face. As soon as he finished speaking, his figure began to flicker and slowly disappeared. Boom. At this moment, they heard an explosion outside. The powerful rank 8 venerable mech had exploded. The third universe venerable rank 8 mech was destroyed. Run. At that moment, everyone in the cursed spirit village turned illusory and disappeared. However, because they relied on their own curses, their cosmos god country did not hide too much. Instead, it was directly located in their village. When they left, Wang Xian came to the center of the blessed land. He scanned the surroundings with a cold look in his eyes. Castles were built in the center of the entire blessed enclave. There was no longer anyone from the cursed spirit village here. Boom. Wang Xian waved his arm and a gust of energy swept across, turning the castles they had built into ashes. He landed in the center of the blessed enclave and looked around. When he arrived at the center of the blessed land, the white energy was even stronger. Even if one's body was cut in half, one could probably recover instantly. To any race, this was an exceptionally strong blessed land. Thinking about it, if one were to be severely injured here, one could recover from an injury that had lasted for 10,000 years in just a few years. There shouldn't be just these. Wang Xian squinted his eyes and scanned the surroundings with his dragon eyes. Wang. At this moment, his eyes fell on a spot. With a swift move, he flew over immediately. This is really strange. When he landed, Wang Xian sized up the few things in front of him. His eyes were filled with astonishment. In his line of sight, there were 10 tombstones that were glowing brightly. These tombstones were glowing with holy white light. When Wang Xian placed his hand on it, a message was transmitted to his mind. Resurrection Tablet. It's just as I predicted. There's something in this blessed land that can resurrect living beings. This is really heaven-defying. However, this resurrection shouldn't be unlimited. Wang Xian murmured to himself as he looked at the 10 sacred tablets in awe. These 10 sacred tablets represented 10 sacred spirits that could be resurrected. This was extremely important for a race. 10 powerhouses with the ability to resurrect were equivalent to 20 powerhouses. He just didn't know if their combat power would be weakened after resurrection, or if they would have to pay a price. However, Wang Xian felt that the price might not be too high. It should be more powerful than the soul returning wood. Not bad, not bad. This is a great place to use as the Dragon Palace's blessed land. Moreover, the Dragon Palace doesn't need to fight at all for this landing battle. They can just move the Dragon Palace here. Wang Xian revealed a satisfied smile. The landing battle was a battle to fight for the blessed land. If the Dragon Palace could find a new blessed land without an owner, they naturally wouldn't need to challenge other races. The other forces in the chaotic continent would probably be thrilled when they heard this news. After all, they could also heave a sigh of relief if the Dragon Palace didn't challenge them. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, 9 figures flew over to Wang Xian. Wang Xian turned around and looked at them. He lifted his head slightly and locked his eyes on them. Dragon King, please don't misunderstand. We're just here to check out the situation. Our 2 races will not compete with the Dragon Palace for the Blessed Land. The old man from the Light Clan quickly cupped his fists when he saw Wang Xian locking his eyes on them. This Blessed Land will be the territory of the Dragon Palace in the future. It will also be the place where we establish our race. Wang Xian said to them directly, given your strength, this Blessed Land should belong to the Dragon Palace. The Light Clan and the 9 Candles Demon Tribe also congratulate the Dragon King. We hope that the 3 races can live in harmony. The experts from the Light Clan expressed their goodwill. All right, the Dragon Palace is also willing to make friends. Wang Xian smiled and cupped his fists at them. In that case, we won't disturb the Dragon King any longer. When the Dragon Palace enters the chaotic continent, we'll invite the Dragon King to be our guest. The experts from the Light Clan cupped their fists and said, the 9 Candles Demon Tribe will soon open up the teleportation formation here. By then, the Dragon King can use our teleportation formation to travel. The 9 Candles Demon Tribe also expressed their goodwill. Wang Xian smiled and nodded his head. Chapter 33-34. Prepare for landing, Heavenly Formation. Set up a formation here. Don't let anyone in. Baki Devil Fiend Black Dragon. Guard this place with the Heavenly Formation. After the 9 experts from the Light Clan and the 9 Candles Demon Tribe left, Wang Xian summoned Enlai and the rest to guard the Grotto Heaven. It's Dragon King. The 4 of them immediately answered. Currently, in the Dragon Palace, other than him, the Sky Array 8-branch Demon Fiend and the only Black Dragon in the Dragon Palace had already broken through to the Universe 8th stage. Before the Dragon Palace was relocated, Wang Xian and the rest had to guard this place. Enlai, I'll mark a place for you. Go there and bring me there. Subsequently, Wang Xian sent the location of the Cursed Spirit Village to Enlai. He wanted to check out the situation at the Cursed Spirit Village to prevent the Cursed Spirit Villagers from making a comeback. Wang Xian dared to kill them, but he couldn't kill them with the 8 Altars Sky Formation. If they killed them, they would still be cursed. Therefore, Wang Xian was prepared to make a trip to the Cursed Spirit Village. It would be best if he could annihilate all of them. Yes, Enlai nodded and immediately took action. 20 minutes later, Enlai returned and brought him to the front of the Cursed Spirit Village. Whoosh! Wang Xian moved and came to the front of the Cursed Spirit Village in an instant. His dragon eyes swept across the village. Have they all run away? He raised his eyebrows. This Cursed Spirit Village was rather peaceful. There were mountains and rivers all around, just like a paradise. Humph! Wang Xian snorted. With a wave of his arm, a grayish energy swept across the entire mountain village. Buzz, buzz, buzz. After the energy passed, there was only silence. All the buildings had collapsed, and the entire Cursed Spirit Village had been reduced to ruins. He narrowed his eyes and flew around for a while, but he could not find any trace of the Cursed Spirit Village members. Dragon King! Damn Dragon King! At the same time, far away from the Cursed Spirit Village, the people of the Cursed Spirit Village were flying in the skies above the border of the primordial continent under the guidance of the mechas. At that moment, the elder leading the group suddenly stopped. He saw that the Cursed Spirit Village that had been detected by the technology had been destroyed. When he saw that the image on the screen had gone black, His face lit up with anger. Dragon King. In the surroundings, thousands of cursed spirit village clansmen were breathing heavily, their eyes bloodshot. So. At this moment, battleships flew over from the front. Like a phantom, the warship quickly arrived before the cursed spirit village. In the center, a 10,000-meter-long battleship stopped in the void, and a robot walked out. The android had the face of a middle-aged man. He stared at the people of the cursed spirit village with a smile. Patriarch, have you thought it through? Join the Iron and Steel Union, and we will not treat you badly. The middle-aged android asked the chief of the cursed spirit village. We can join the Iron and Steel Union, but we want that blessed land. When the chief of the cursed spirit village heard his words, his expression changed drastically. 10 seconds later, he gritted his teeth and replied. Their cursed spirit village was very special. Without these mechas, they wouldn't even dare to walk around the great wilderness continent. Once they encountered a natural disaster, all of them would die. They could only find a safe place to take it. Joining the Iron and Steel Union was good for them, but at the same time, they had to pay a lot. Life was at stake, because the most useful thing to them was their lives. The Iron and Steel Union saw this point, which was why they were trying to recruit them. They didn't succeed last time. This time, the cursed spirit village was in a desperate situation. Sure, but not now. The middle-aged robot wasn't too surprised by their conditions, so he agreed right away. How long do we have to wait? The chief of the cursed spirit village asked with a bitter expression. It won't be long. Don't worry. The middle-aged android said with radiance flickering in his eyes. We'll only be willing to work for you if you help us occupy that blessed land. The chief of the cursed spirit village said with a sullen expression. All right. The middle-aged android nodded with a smile. He extended his hand and made an inviting gesture. Welcome to the Iron and Steel Union. Swish, swish, swish. The people of the cursed spirit village moved and flew in. The cursed spirit village joining the Iron and Steel Union was of great strategic significance to the Iron and Steel Union. It was like having a member of the cursed spirit village in a battleship, and the battleship would attack a powerful enemy. Once the enemy destroyed the battleship, what awaited them would be the power of the curse. The addition of the cursed spirit village would greatly improve the Iron and Steel Union. The people of the cursed spirit village entered the battleship and flew far away. Days passed. After leaving the cursed spirit village, Wang Xian returned to the Dragon Palace. It had been quite some time since Wang Xian left the Dragon Palace. By now, the improvement in the Dragon Palace had basically ended. Currently, the total number of universe paragons in the Dragon Palace had reached 100,000. During this period of time, the number of disciples in the Dragon Palace had reached 1.8 million. Among these 1.8 million, the weakest had the combat power of a 7th-order God Emperor. It was especially so for the old members of the Dragon Palace. The weakest had the combat power of a 9th-order God Emperor. However, Aosia and the rest still needed some time to improve, at least a year or so. For the remaining time, Wang Xian stayed in the Dragon Palace. The Sky Array 8 branches and the rest were guarding the Blessed Land. No living beings dared to approach. The Continental Way Starry Sky had also fallen into a state of peace. Wang Xian and the group of girls were touring the various planets in the Continental Way Starry Sky. Boom boom. A year passed quickly. On this day, a terrifying aura spread from a corner of the Dragon Palace. Ha ha ha, I, Aosia, have finally broken through. I've finally broken through. Following which, an excited voice could be heard. The group of leaders of the Dragon Palace heard this voice and immediately flew over. Aosia, you guys have finally broken through. Prime Minister Turtle flew over and swept his gaze across Aosia and the rest. The Dragon Palace of the Wind and Thunder Divine Dragon Race and the Dragon Palace of the Crimson Gold Battle Dragon had been completely devoured by Aosia and the other 3 devouring dragons. Currently, the 4 of them had the combat power of a 9th-order universe paragon. With such combat power, they were almost invincible even at the border of the chaotic continent. Congratulations! The group of leaders congratulated with smiles on their faces. Ha ha ha, brothers, leave the breakthrough to us, the devouring dragons. Aosia said loudly with a happy face. Currently, The bloodline of the devouring dragons was the strongest in the Dragon Palace. The 4 Ninth Order Universe Paragons were invincible. They were even stronger than the Dragon King, Wang. At the same time, Wang Xian returned to the Dragon Palace after receiving the news. He smiled when he sensed the strength of Ao Xie and the rest. Greetings, Dragon King. Ao Xie and the rest greeted Wang Xian respectfully when they saw him. Not bad, not bad. We're just waiting for you guys to break through. We can prepare to disembark. Wang Xian smiled. Chapter 33-35. Dragon Palace had been preparing for the landing battle for more than a year. Everything was waiting for Ao Xie and the rest to break through. Today, Ao Xie broke through, and Dragon Palace could proceed with the landing battle directly. However, the landing battle of Dragon Palace might be different from the landing battles of other races. Prime Minister Turtle, let me announce that Dragon Palace will be landing in 5 days. We will not challenge any race. We have our own blessed land. Wang Xian ordered with a smile as he swept his gaze across the group of Dragon Palace leaders and purebred divine dragons in the Dragon King Palace. Currently, Dragon Palace had 4 rank 9 supremacies, 5 rank 8 supremacies, and 30 rank 7 supremacies. The group of Dragon Palace leaders, Golden Dragon, Water Divine Dragon, Fire Divine Dragon, Thunder Dragon, Wind Divine Dragon, Blue Otaku, and the rest had reached rank 7 supremacies. Now, Dragon Palace was strong enough. Yes, Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle answered immediately. In less than 10 minutes, the news of Dragon Palace's landing spread throughout the entire land-surrounded starry sky and chaotic continent. Everyone could see how powerful the current Dragon Palace was. Every move of Dragon Palace could cause a huge stir in land-surrounded starry sky, not to mention this landing battle. However, this announcement not only shook land-surrounded starry sky, but also the forces at the border of chaotic continent. The landing battle usually required one to challenge a force at the border of chaotic continent. Given Dragon Palace's strength, the landing battle caused those forces at the border to panic. However, when they saw Dragon Palace's announcement, they were excited and shocked at the same time. The Dragon Palace didn't challenge any forces in their landing battle. They have already occupied an ownerless grotto heaven. My God! Is this Dragon Palace? Is this the invincible Dragon Palace? Isn't this landing battle too terrifying? Other forces have to challenge for the landing battle, but Dragon Palace has occupied a blessed land in advance. There is no need for them to challenge other races. Now that we've opened up the heavens, the forces at the edge of the chaotic continent can finally heave a sigh of relief. The Dragon Palace is about to land, and all of us were terrified. Who would have thought that the Dragon Palace would be so powerful and occupy a blessed land in advance? The strength of the Dragon Palace is too strong. It could be said that the Dragon Palace has created history. Before they even disembarked, they have already occupied a blessed place. At this time, everyone from the continent surrounding the starry sky and the desolate continent were discussing in shock. The Dragon Palace's landing battle this time was unprecedented. If a race wanted to establish itself in the great desolate continent, it needed to have its own paradise. Every race knew the importance of the blessed enclave. Otherwise, they would have no foothold and no place to stand. This would greatly affect the development of a race. Furthermore, there were a limited number of blessed lands at the edge of the great desolate continent. Basically, they were all occupied by various races. Even if they weren't occupied by other races, they would be occupied by powerful desolate beast races. Therefore, if one wanted to occupy a blessed grotto heaven, one would have to declare war on the blessed grotto heaven. However, the Dragon Palace had already occupied a blessed grotto heaven in advance. One could imagine how powerful they were. He had occupied a blessed land before he had even landed. It could be said that he had created history. Welcome to the Dragon Palace's landing in the great desolate continent. If you have time, the Dragon King and the guests of the Dragon Palace can visit the Light Clan. Welcome to the Dragon Palace's landing in the great desolate continent. We, the Nine Candles Demon Tribe, hope to develop friendly relations with the Dragon Palace and become good neighbors. While the experts and disciples of the forces at the edge of the great desolate continent were discussing, The congratulatory statements made everyone excited again. What the fuck? What's going on? The Light Clan and the Nine Candles Demon Tribe are welcoming the Dragon Palace's landing? It seems that the Dragon King has a good relationship with these two races. These two races are not weak at the edge of the great, desolate continent. This is the reputation. The Dragon Palace has landed, and those powerful forces are welcoming them. That's amazing. Damn it, is this a landing? This is a real arrival. It's so domineering. Looking at the statements of the two races, countless people on the artificial intelligence system were discussing in amazement. Look, this is the Dragon Palace. It's so awesome. The statements of the Light Clan and the Nine Candles Demon Tribe seem to be the first. Then, led by the Deep Swamp race, some other races congratulated the Dragon Palace on their arrival in the great, desolate continent. In less than a day, more than 20 races had made their statements. The experts of the forces around the great, desolate continent could also see that they were trying to please the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace was so powerful that these forces wanted to get familiar with it and not have any conflicts with it in the future. Looking at the statements of the races, all the forces around the great, desolate continent were envious. If one day they could reach the level of the Dragon Palace, they would die without regrets. Humph, Dragon Palace, Dragon King. While the artificial intelligence system was bustling because of the Dragon Palace in the Lich City of the Lich Kingdom, the Lich King looked at the information on the artificial intelligence system with a furious expression. The more glorious the Dragon Palace was, the more furious he was. It could be said that the Dragon Palace had risen by stepping on the heads of the Lich Kingdom. The Lich Kingdom had also suffered heavy losses because of them. Do you think the landing battle will be so simple? The Lich King looked at the information on the artificial intelligence system with a cold expression and sneered. His eyes were filled with violent, murderous intent. He did not expect that the Dragon Palace had not only offended them. Very soon, they would begin their revenge. General Jean, the Dragon Palace is preparing to land in the chaotic continent. This time, they will go directly to the blessed Grotto Heaven. Once they occupy that place, it will be difficult to chase them away given the defensive power of the Dragon Palace. Besides, once they occupy that place, they will definitely discover the Pond of Curse not far away. By then, it will also affect the plan of the cursed creatures. In another part of the chaotic continent, this was a realm full of science fiction. All kinds of mechas and chariots were flying in the sky. Below them were all dreamy buildings. This was the famous technological area of the chaotic continent, the Iron and Steel Union. In a castle under the technological area, the chief of the cursed spirit village stood in front of a middle-aged mecha expert and said with a sullen expression, "I know. That place will not be occupied by the Dragon Palace. Don't worry. The Iron and Steel Union understands the importance of the Pond of Curse." General Jean slowly browsed through some information on the artificial intelligence system and said plainly, Then what should we do?" The chief of the cursed spirit village couldn't help but ask, "What do we need to do?" "Contact the Dragon Palace privately. If they don't know what's good for them, don't blame me for being rude." Chapter 33-36. The Pool of Curse was very important to the Iron and Steel Union. As for the other blessed enclave, the Iron and Steel Union did not attach much importance to it. Even the blessed enclave was exceptionally powerful. One of the main reasons why they hadn't fought over the blessed lands was because of the cursed spirit village. They wanted to gain complete control of the cursed spirit village. After more than a year of preparation, they had gained complete control over everyone in the cursed spirit village. Now, the Dragon Palace was about to embark on a land battle. They didn't care about the Dragon Palace's landing battle, but they couldn't allow the Dragon Palace to occupy the blessed Grotto Heaven. This would affect some of the plans of the Steel Union. As for Dragon Palace and the others, they naturally wouldn't force them to scram. They understood the strength of the Dragon Palace. The Lich Kingdom had already tested the Dragon Palace's defensive capabilities on them. Therefore, the Iron and Steel Union would inform the Dragon Palace in private. As the strongest force in the chaotic continent, they were already giving face to the Dragon Palace by doing this. The chief of the cursed spirit village frowned when he heard General Jin's words, but he didn't say anything. He didn't have much right to tell the Iron and Steel Union what to do. Dragon King. We suddenly received a message from the Iron and Steel Union. An hour later, when all the members of the Dragon Palace were preparing to disembark, Prime Minister Turtle suddenly came to the Dragon King Palace and reported to Wang Xian with an awful look. A message from the Iron and Steel Union. Wang Xian was taken aback. When he saw Prime Minister Turtle's expression, he squinted his eyes and asked, "What message?" The Iron and Steel Union said that the Blessed Enclave is of great use to them and the Cursed Spirit Village. They don't care about the Cursed Spirit Village, but the Blessed Enclave belongs to the Iron and Steel Union. They won't give it up and asked us to find another place. They want our Dragon Palace to give them a reply within an hour. Prime Minister Turtle said, "If they want the Blessed Enclave, we'll give it to them?" Hee hee. Chuxian laughed. "Tell them to scram. If they dare to have any ideas about the Blessed Paradises, we will fight them." "It's Dragon King," Prime Minister Turtle immediately replied. Also, at this moment, Wang Xian squinted his eyes. "Inform Heaven Array and the rest to come back. We'll declare war on whoever dares to touch our things." "Yes." Prime Minister Turtle squinted his eyes and said immediately. The present was different from the past. Back then, the Lich Kingdom had stolen the spoils of war from the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian could only resort to sneak attacks to make the Lich Kingdom lower their heads. But now, if anyone dared to touch the Dragon Palace's Grotto Heaven and Blessed Land, they would immediately start a war with them. With Aosia and the other 3 level 9 Venerable Realm powerhouses, would the Dragon Palace be afraid of the Iron and Steel Union? So what if it was the strongest force at the edge of the great desolate continent? Soon, they arrived at the technological field of the Iron and Steel Guild in the primordial continent. When the higher-ups of the Iron and Steel Union received the news from the Dragon Palace, their eyes turned cold. Make a statement directly that the blessed land occupied by the Dragon Palace belongs to the Iron and Steel Union. If they dare to come, then let the Dragon Palace have a land battle. Humph. The supreme leader of the Iron and Steel Union issued an order, and the generals immediately responded. In less than 2 minutes, the statement about the Iron and Steel Union was directly released. The Iron and Steel Union was undoubtedly the most powerful force in the great desolate continent. In the entire universe, it was one of the top technological forces. Their every move was watched by countless forces and experts. When they made this statement, all the forces were dumbfounded. What does the Iron and Steel Union mean? The blessed land occupied by the Dragon Palace belongs to the Iron and Steel Union? If the Dragon Palace dares to come, we will have a land battle with them? A war between the Dragon Palace and the Iron and Steel Union. SSS, it can't be. What's going on? What's going on? What feud does the Dragon Palace have with the Iron and Steel Union? The experts at the edge of the great desolate continent widened their eyes and discussed in shock. The Iron and Steel Union made such a statement just after the Dragon Palace announced that they were going to land. Did this mean that they were going to start a war? The Iron and Steel Union was the strongest force on their side. The news quickly spread to the landlocked Starry Sky. When the landlocked Starry Sky heard the news, there was an uproar and they were equally shocked. This, the strongest force at the edge of the great desolate continent, actually issued such a warning to the Dragon Palace? What the hell was going on? Countless people focused their eyes on the Dragon Palace and the Iron and Steel Union and swallowed their saliva. It seemed that the landing battle of the Dragon Palace was not as simple as they thought. In the face of the strongest force in the great desolate continent, the Dragon Palace was afraid. There were all kinds of discussions and astonishment. Ha ha ha, I really didn't expect that the Dragon Palace would provoke the Iron and Steel Union. At this moment, in the main hall of the Lich Kingdom, the Lich King heard the news and roared excitedly. Not long ago, when he got the news from the Wrapped Corpse clan, he was already very shocked. The two clans had already made contact and were preparing for the next action. But he never expected that the Iron and Steel Union would also start a conflict with the Dragon Palace. This was simply God helping them. They knew the Iron and Steel Union better than other forces. They knew the horror of the Iron and Steel Union. It was no exaggeration to say that if the worship of the Iron and Steel Union came to the sky of the Lich Kingdom could only flee. They couldn't resist at all. Now that the Iron and Steel Union had a conflict with the Dragon Palace, plus the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse clan, if they could join forces, he was confident that he could completely suppress and seal the Dragon Palace. Don't worry, don't worry. The Dragon Palace may not dare to provoke the Iron and Steel Union. The Iron and Steel Union released such a statement, the Dragon Palace may retreat. In this case, they won't be able to fight. In the end, there will only be the Wrapped Corpse clan. Soon, the Lich King suppressed the excitement in his heart and murmured. Everything was not a foregone conclusion. They couldn't be happy so early. But at this time, he saw a message on the AI and his eyes lit up instantly. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that the Dragon Palace would be so arrogant. Are you relying on the Dragon Palace? You're courting death. The Lich King laughed and said. He opened his dragon mouth and couldn't help but laugh. The Dragon Palace released another message on the universe AI. 5 days later, the landing battle. The landing battle. It was different from the previous announcement, where they were going to land. This time, they added the word battle, which also meant that if the Iron and Steel Union fought, the Dragon Palace would also fight. Chapter 33-37. The Battle to Land. Hiss, the Dragon Palace has responded. They have changed their statement. In the landing battle in 5 days, they are declaring war on the Iron and Steel Union. The Iron and Steel Union is so strong, but the Dragon Palace doesn't retreat. Is the Dragon Palace going to rely on the Dragon Palace's powerful defense? The Dragon Palace is still the same as before. However, they should be relying on the defense of the Dragon Palace. Otherwise, how could they fight against the #1 power of the desolate continent? The defense of the Dragon Palace is very strong. The Iron and Steel Union might not be able to break it. The Dragon Palace's response shocked everyone. They thought that the Dragon Palace would give up on the blessed Grotto Heaven, but they didn't expect that they would insist on the Iron and Steel Union. The forces at the edge of the great desolate continent were also shocked, and their eyes flickered. To be honest, they were not optimistic about the Dragon Palace. The strength of the Dragon Palace was not even comparable to the Lich Kingdom. How could it compete with the Iron and Steel Union? The power of the Iron and Steel Union was much stronger than that of the Lich Kingdom. Even if the Dragon King relied on the defense of the Dragon Palace to enter the chaotic continent, what would happen next? The surveillance system of the Iron and Steel Union could monitor the entire Dragon Palace. Once the members of the Dragon Palace came out, they would definitely suffer a huge blow. I originally thought that the Dragon Palace's arrival was a sign of arrival. I didn't expect it to be a challenge to the most powerful force. Some people sighed inwardly as their eyes flickered. At this time, at the edge of the chaotic continent, there were no forces that welcomed the Dragon Palace, because they were afraid to offend the Iron and Steel Union. The entire edge of the primeval continent fell into a strange atmosphere. So. In the void in front of the Iron and Steel Union, figures were flying toward the realm of science fiction. The Lich King, who possessed the head of the demonic dragon, and another powerhouse of the Lich Kingdom. On the other side, there were experts from the shrouded corpse race wrapped in corpse-wrapping cloth. As soon as they approached the front of the Iron and Steel Union, drones flew over and locked onto their identities. Target, please state your intentions. The robotic voice of the drone warned them. We are the leaders of the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse tribe. We wish to pay a visit to the leader of the Iron and Steel Union. We have something to discuss. The Lich King immediately said, Please wait a moment. Please follow me. Soon, under the guidance of the drone, the Lich King and the others entered the territory of the Iron and Steel Union. The futuristic buildings, weapons, and huge battleships docked in the void made their hearts palpitate. Ka. Soon, they flew in front of a sci-fi building. The building opened an entrance, and the Lich King and the shrouded corpse race experts entered. Inside was a large hall, and an old man sat on a steel throne at the front. Lich King, leader of the shrouded corpse tribe, why have you come here personally? The old man looked at them and asked plainly. Steel leader, you should have guessed that we are here for the Dragon Palace. The Lich King cupped his hands towards the patriarch of the Iron and Steel Union. Oh, does your Wrapped Corpse clan have a feud with the Dragon Palace? The leader of the Iron and Steel Union looked at the leader of the Shrouded Corpse Tribe and asked in surprise. Our Wrapped Corpse Tribe had 2 level 8 Universe Venerables killed by the Dragon King. This enmity, our Wrapped Corpse Tribe naturally has to be avenged. The leader of the Wrapped Corpse Tribe said, I want to hear your plans. If possible, the Iron and Steel Union will agree. The eyes of the leader of the Iron and Steel Union sparkled. The arrival of the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse Tribe was also beyond his expectations. The strength of these 2 tribes was second only to the Iron and Steel Union at the edge of Chaotic Continent. Both tribes had come at once. The Dragon Palace had offended so many powerful factions. Iron and Lingxiao, our plan is simple. The Dragon Palace is heading towards the Grotto Heaven Blessed Land that they are currently occupying. Along the way, we will find a good place to set up an ambush and suppress them there forever, never to let them out. The Lich King said directly, the Grotto Heaven Blessed Land that they are occupying belongs to us. The Iron and Steel Union has already sent people to take over. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union pondered for a few seconds as he said, how strong is the defense of the Dragon Palace? I judge that unless one has the destructive power of a Universe Lord, it will be hard to break through the defense of the Dragon Palace. Sealing and suppressing it is the best way. The Lich King said solemnly, if not for the strong defense of the Dragon Palace, our Lich Kingdom would have wiped them out long ago. Suppressing and sealing. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union nodded slightly. That's not difficult. The Iron and Steel Union will plan this. Your 2 tribes can just send all the experts and disciples. No problem, right? Naturally, no problem. The Lich King and the leader of the Wrapped Corpse Tribe smiled when they heard this. The Iron and Steel Union's plan was much more detailed than theirs. Their fighter jets and their artificial intelligence technology could find the best place and the best solution. By then, the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse Tribe would just have to send people to attack. Within 3 days, we will pass the plan to you. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union said directly. The Lich King and the leader of the Wrapped Corpse Tribe nodded and left. This time, the Dragon Palace will definitely die. The 2 of them were excited when they heard that they were flying to the sky. It's good to suppress the Dragon Palace, lest they take revenge in the future. Within the territory of the Iron and Steel Union, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union muttered to himself. He quickly checked the information on the Dragon Palace in his mind. He was slightly shocked by the speed of the rise of the Dragon Palace. Such a force should either be suppressed directly or not offended. Unfortunately, they had already offended them. Suppress them then. He closed his eyes slightly and a scene appeared in his mind. Battleships and spaceships had arrived above the Grotto Heaven Blessed Land. Within the Grotto Heaven Blessed Land, the formation was running. Attack. A mechanical voice rang out, and a series of terrifying attacks were launched towards the array. The formation began to collapse gradually. The unmanned fighter jets scanned the surroundings and slowly landed in the Grotto Heaven Blessed Land. The members of the Cursed Spirit Village came to the Grotto Heaven Blessed Land excitedly. At the same time, in the Pond of Curse not far away from the Grotto Heaven Blessed Land, millions of clones stood in front of the cursed person. One by one, they jumped into the Pond of Curse, letting out painful screams. Their chances of survival were 1 in 10,000. Now that the technological development of the Iron and Steel Union had reached a critical point, they could only think of other ways to improve. Creating some cursed people was a relatively simple way at the moment. Peak. Chapter 33-38. Dragon King. The array I set up in the Rebirth Paradise has been destroyed. Battleships have arrived. Inside the Dragon Palace, the Heavenly Formation Array was destroyed and reported immediately. Just as expected, Wang Xian nodded plainly. The Cursed Spirit Village should have reached an agreement with the Iron and Steel Union, or they should have joined the Iron and Steel Union. They would definitely send battleships to occupy the Rebirth Paradise. As for the name of the paradise, it was given by Wang Xian and the rest. Dragon King, this is an opportunity for the Lich Kingdom. Since they bear a grudge against us, they won't let go of this opportunity. Prime Minister Turtle said to Wang Xian with glistening eyes. The Lich Kingdom isn't worth mentioning. What's your understanding of the Iron and Steel Union? Wang Xian smiled and asked Prime Minister Turtle. According to the information on the Universe AI and the Nine Candles Demon Tribe of the Light Clan, there's a 70% chance that the Iron and Steel Union has a combat machine that can unleash the destructive power of a Level 9 Universe Supremacy. A war machine of this level should be a cornerstone of the Iron and Steel Union. I wonder if they will use it when they deal with us. Prime Minister Turtle reported. At the border of the chaotic continent, a Level 8 Universe Supremacy was the strongest combat power. Even if the Iron and Steel Union had a war machine that could unleash a Level 9 Universe Supremacy, it would only be stationed in the Iron and Steel Union's territory. At most, the Iron and Steel Union could have 2 such attacks. Nothing to worry about, Roving Crab said confidently when he heard the news. I'll be counting on you guys for this battle. Wang Xian smiled and said to him, Rest assured, Dragon King. If that's all they have, the devouring dragon will kill as many of them as they come. Roving Crab said confidently. Wang Xian nodded plainly and said, Get all the members of the Dragon Palace ready to step into the chaotic continent. Yes. Prime Minister Turtle answered immediately and left the Dragon King Palace. Now, the only one who can threaten the Dragon Palace in the Untainted Land is probably the Cursed People. When the time comes, I'll slaughter them first. Wang Xian leaned on the dragon throne and murmured. However, on the ancestral tree's soul-returning wood branch, there were dozens of pitch-black round balls that looked like soul-returning fruits. Over the past 6 months, Wang Xian had ordered Enlai to bring him to the Pond of Curse a few times. Currently, there were about 1,000 curse dragons in the Dragon Palace. Without the other forces knowing, this was also a great killing weapon. Most importantly, after the Dragon Palace's curse dragon was killed, it could be resurrected with the soul-returning wood. 5 days passed in the blink of an eye. On the 5th day, Wang Xian floated above the Dragon Palace and looked at the vast land ahead. To the left and right were the Fire Dragon Palace, the Water Dragon Palace, and the Demonic Dragon Dark World. The 4 dragon palaces slowly headed towards the great desolate continent. The Dragon Palace's speed was very fast. Soon, it stepped into the sky above the chaotic continent. This scene was seen clearly by some of the experts who came to watch the battle. Dragon Palace is about to embark? I heard that the Dragon Palace is going to the depths of the chaotic continent. It will take them half a year to reach their destination. Only the Dragon Palace can fly above the chaotic continent for half a year. However, even for the Dragon Palace, this journey will be extremely dangerous. I wonder when the Iron and Steel Union will take action and if the Lich Kingdom will join in. The group of experts in the starry sky behind him discussed in low voices. They did not dare to step into the chaotic continent. They could only follow the news of the Dragon Palace through the smart computer. The Dragon Palace is here. The forces at the border of the chaotic continent were also paying attention to the Dragon Palace's landing battle. Seeing the Dragon Palace stepping into the sky above the chaotic continent, they thought to themselves. The 4 dragon palaces flew above the chaotic continent, emitting a mighty aura. Some wild beasts sensed it and hid far away. The journey this time was very, very far. It would take at least half a year to reach the destination. Wang Xian looked around and waited patiently. In the dragon field of the Dragon Palace, the members of the Dragon Palace were entrenched, ready for battle. The news of the Dragon Palace entering the chaotic continent had also spread to every race. This time, the Dragon Palace would fly over the sky above many races and forces. It could be said that every move of the Dragon Palace was under the watch of many forces. 5 days passed quickly. The Dragon Palace flew in a straight line and did not make any changes. Based on the current route of the Dragon Palace, they will reach the Blessed Land by this route. The moment the Dragon Palace stepped into the sky above the chaotic continent, the Iron and Steel Union already knew all their movements. 5 days later, the Lich King and the experts from the Wrapped Corpse tribe arrived at the Iron and Steel Union. Currently, this is the temporary place to suppress the Dragon Palace. They will arrive 3 months later. This is a deep pit called the Nine Origins Pit. The deep pit is emitting deathly energy. The feng shui here is good. Let's make this the burial ground of the Dragon Palace. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union pointed to a map and continued, Sure, this is a good place to put the 4 dragon palaces. The Lich King looked over and revealed a smile. Both of you go and get ready. We have to reach there 3 days in advance. Since the Dragon King dared to challenge the Iron and Steel Union, he should be quite capable. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union said plainly, "All right." The Lich King and the rest nodded. This time, the three forces might not be able to crush the Dragon Palace easily. The strength of the Dragon King of the Dragon Palace and the defense of the Dragon Palace were terrifying. Therefore, even if the three forces were to join forces, they had to be fully prepared. Even a lion would give its all when fighting a rabbit. Days passed. 1 month and 2 months passed. The Dragon Palace shuttled across the chaotic continent without suffering any attacks. Some reckless wild beasts were easily killed by the disciples of the Dragon Palace. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed. Everything was peaceful. However, all the members of the Dragon Palace knew that the war was getting closer. The other forces also understood that this was the calm before the storm. There is no change in the route of the Dragon Palace. Move. About 3 months later, a message was sent to the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse tribe. At this moment, the two forces immediately took action. The hatred between the Lich Kingdom and the Dragon Palace was as deep as the ocean. This time, almost all the pinnacle experts had come. 70% of the experts from the remaining 9 main cities had come. Countless experts from the Wrapped Corpse tribe had also rushed to the sky. The Iron and Steel Union also began to move. Their target was the 9 Origins Pit. Peak. Chapter 33-39. Three forces besiege Upper. The Liches were wreaking havoc in the sky above the desolate continent. They were gathered together above a black cloud. The Lich King, who was riding a sky-devouring centipede, flew menacingly in the direction of the 9 Essences Pit. A white cloth hung across the sky, covering half of the starry sky. Above the cloth, experts of the Wrapped Corpse clan stood there quietly, filled with a cold aura. The leader of the Shrouded Corpse clan held a pyramid-like acquired supreme treasure in his hand, slightly raising his wrapped head. In the sky above the Iron and Steel Union, terrifying warships took off one after another. Countless fighter aircrafts whizzed through the skies of the great desolate continent, their gigantic mechas glowing with light. In the center, on a spaceship that was tens of thousands of kilometers long, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union and the 28 generals of the Iron and Steel Union stood there with cold looks in their eyes. Behind them were a few thousand members of the Cursed Spirit Village. Their eyes were filled with coldness. At this moment, the three races moved out at the same time, with the same goal and the same direction. The 3 major races had mobilized all of their experts and weapons, and it was impossible to cover it up. They didn't plan to hide it at all. The Dragon Palace had penetrated deep into the chaotic continent. They couldn't escape. The Lich Kingdom's army is moving. There are at least millions of Lich Kingdom's experts on that black cloud. Are they going to fight against the Dragon Palace? The warship of the Iron and Steel Union is roaring in space. The Iron and Steel Union is moving. They should be ready to take action. Hiss! The Wrapped Corpse tribe has also moved. The Wrapped Corpse tribe has dispatched a large number of experts. As one of the top 3 powers in the chaotic wasteland continent, every move they made would cause a commotion among the other powers. When the Lich Kingdom began to move, there were people spreading speculations on the smart brain. When the Iron and Steel Union also moved, all the powerhouses could basically be sure. However, when someone revealed that the Shrouded Corpse tribe had also made a move, everyone was dumbfounded. What's going on? The Wrapped Corpse clan was also involved? Are the 3 races going to attack the Dragon Palace? It can't be, right? It's so terrifying. Hiss, is this real or fake? These are the 3 strongest powers of our great desolate continent. At this moment, the entire border of the primordial continent was in an uproar. Some people had already guessed that the Lich Kingdom's army would move out. However, the appearance of the Wrapped Corpse tribe surprised everyone. Incomparably shocking. As time passed, the factions at the border of the great desolate continent discovered to their shock that the 3 races were heading to the same place. This caused everyone to be in an uproar. The 3 strongest factions of the primordial continent had gone to attack the Dragon Palace. Dragon Palace was doomed. This was the first thought in everyone's mind. The Dragon Palace was doomed, 100% doomed. This was one of the top 3 powers in the Great Desolate Continent. The 3 forces besieged the Dragon Palace together. Even if the Dragon Palace had a heaven-defying defense, the 3 forces could still suppress the Dragon Palace completely. On the other side of the continental encirclement starry sky, all the experts and disciples in the entire continental encirclement starry sky were also paying attention to the Dragon Palace's landing battle. When they received the news from the edge of the Great Desolate Continent, their expressions changed drastically. Although the Dragon Palace was very powerful, it was completely defenseless under the siege and suppression of the 3 forces. As long as the members of Dragon Palace came out, they would be annihilated. In that case, the other party could completely suppress the Dragon Palace forever. This Dragon Palace was in danger. This was the opinion of all the forces in the continental starry sky. They didn't expect the Dragon Palace's landing battle to reach such a terrifying level. All the forces could not understand the hatred between the Wrapped Corpse tribe and the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, the Iron and Steel Union, and the Lich Kingdom have made their move. However, we did not expect the Wrapped Corpse tribe to make their move too. At the same time, Prime Minister Turtle, who was in the Dragon Palace, reported the news to Wang Xian immediately. The Wrapped Corpse tribe has made their move too? That's not surprising. I killed 2 rank 8 universe supremacies from the Wrapped Corpse tribe. Wang Xian raised his eyebrows and said, back then, in order to snatch the acquired treasure, he killed 2 Wrapped Corpse tribe experts. Rank 8 universe supremacies were the top and had the highest status in the Wrapped Corpse tribe. Now that he had killed 2 of them, it was normal for the other party to want revenge. The Light Clan and the 9 Candles Demon tribe sent us a message. They asked us to flee back to the continental starry sky and give up the landing battle. Prime Minister Turtle said with a smile. Oh, after all, they are the 3 strongest powers in the Great Desolate Continent. Haha. Wang Xian smiled with a cold look in his eyes. Get Tianjun and the rest to get ready and set up the array. Also, get Roving Crab, Yamada no Devil Fiend, and the rest over. It's Dragon King. Prime Minister Turtle immediately replied. Dragon King. Very quickly, Aosia and 3 devouring dragons with level 9 venerable battle power flew over. Aosia, get in line to bring you to the Shaman Kingdom's Shaman Demon City in the Wrapped Corpse tribe's lair. Leave 1 person and some subordinates at each place. Baki Demon Sha, bring the Venom Horn Dragon and follow. Infiltrate the Shaman Demon City and the Wrapped Corpse tribe's lair first and send a message to the Devouring Dragon. This time, I'm going to wipe out the entire Wrapped Corpse tribe of the Lich Nation in one fell swoop. Wang Xian immediately instructed them with glistening eyes. It's Dragon King. Roving Crab, Yamada no Demon Fiend, and the others nodded and immediately replied. 3 clans, this time, I will completely annihilate you. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with murderous intent. Sending 2 rank 9 devouring dragons and Yamada no Demon Fiend, and the rest to the Shaman Demon City and the Wrapped Corpse tribe's lair was not to launch an immediate attack. Instead, he wanted them to wait. Wait for the order to attack. This time, the 3 clans had come to besiege the Dragon Palace. Wang Xian was confident that he could defeat them completely. However, he was not confident that he could make all the experts stay. The Iron Tribe was still fine as they relied on technology. Without their own holy nations, they could not escape directly. However, the experts from the Shaman Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse tribe could escape to their own holy nations and their lair instantly. And this was the time for the devouring dragons to strike. Even if they escaped back, they would still be attacked by the devouring dragons. It was especially so when Yamada no Demon Fiend and the rest had figured out some of the trump cards of the 2 superpowers. It would be easier for them to strike if they worked together. He wanted to completely annihilate the 3 superpowers. As for the danger of sending 2 rank 9 venerable devouring dragons away, there was naturally no danger. Even if the 3 clans had supreme treasures that could unleash 2 to 3 rank 9 venerables, the 2 devouring dragons could return to the Dragon Palace instantly. Chapter 3340. Three forces besieging below the three races flew towards the Dragon Palace at high speed. The Dragon Palace was also making preparations. Time passed day by day. Didn't the Dragon Palace receive the news of the three races besieging them? Why haven't they stopped? They haven't even changed their route? 2 days later, the experts realized that the Dragon Palace seemed to be unaware of the three races besieging them. They were still flying according to their usual route. This caused the experts of the various forces to be extremely shocked. How can they not know? Could it be that the Dragon Palace still has a trump card? What trump card? The only trump card they have against the three races is the defense of the Dragon Palace. If they really had a trump card, they would have destroyed the Lich Kingdom when the Lich Kingdom besieged the Dragon Palace. The Dragon King wouldn't have needed to launch a sneak attack. That's true. The Dragon Palace isn't even a match for the Lich Kingdom in a head-on fight, let alone the three forces. I reckon a single round of attacks from the three forces would be enough to destroy the Dragon Palace. The experts from the various forces were analyzing on the universe AI. The Dragon Palace seemed strong to everyone. However, this strength was only in comparison to the forces that besieged the continental starry sky and the ordinary forces in the chaotic continent. If they were to compare it to the Lich Kingdom, there would be a huge gap. Not to mention the Iron and Steel Union. Part of the Dragon Palace's strength came from its defense. If the Dragon Palace were to challenge other forces in this landing battle, it would be a piece of cake. However, they were besieged by the three forces. No one was optimistic about the Dragon Palace's chances. You're courting death. I'll suppress you forever this time. Above the border of the chaotic continent, the Lich King's eyes were filled with murderous intent as he read the messages. The three forces were getting closer and closer to the pit of the Nine Origins. The Dragon Palace was also getting closer and closer to the pit. The computing power of the Iron and Steel Union's AI calculated the route and progress of the Dragon Palace to the extent of hundreds of millions of kilometers. This could be said to be extremely terrifying. Dragon King, the three forces should be right ahead. They might be ambushing us. A day later, a gigantic crater appeared below the Dragon Palace while it was flying in the sky above the Dragon Palace. The pit seemed to be emitting deathly energy. Ambushing us? Hee. Wang Xian chuckled. With a swift move, he came to the front of the east gate of the Dragon Palace. At this moment, all the members of Dragon Palace had gathered at the east gate of Dragon Palace. Their eyes were filled with violent killing intent. Prepare for battle. Wang Xian squinted his eyes. As the Dragon Palace moved forward, figures began to appear on the screen in the detection of the Dragon Palace. The terrifying battleships, the powerful mechas, and the ghost-like battleships. In the center, there was a huge warship. Figures could be seen standing on it. And on the left and right sides, on the black clouds, were the powerful disciples of the Lich Kingdom. The disciples of the Rapping Corpse clan on the white cloth. They floated in the air, waiting for the arrival of the Dragon Palace. Zzz. As the Dragon Palace approached, a terrifying lightning net appeared in the sky above the Dragon Palace. The dense lightning net gradually condensed into a huge lightning hammer. When the hammer of thunder and lightning fell, the entire Dragon Palace would be smashed into the deep pit below and then sealed and suppressed. TSK, the Dragon Palace is really a coward. Since they want to be a coward, they shall hide here forever. The Lich King looked at the Dragon Palace that appeared in his sight with a sinister look in his eyes. Die. Kill these guys from the Dragon Palace. On the battleship that was tens of thousands of kilometers away, the people from the cursed spirit village looked at this scene with excitement and malevolence. They still dare not come out. It seems like we have overestimated the Dragon Palace. On the battleship that was tens of thousands of kilometers away, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union looked at the Dragon Palace that was about to be attacked with disdain. They had thought that the Dragon Palace would put up a fight. Little did they expect that they would still hide in the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace is their backing. Wouldn't they be courting death if they came out? The Dragon Palace isn't stupid. Hee. General Jean of the Iron and Steel Union said with a smile. In the sky, the lightning that had been prepared gradually condensed into a huge lightning hammer. The Dragon Palace continued to move forward at the same speed. They were getting closer and closer to the three major forces. At this distance, the members of the Dragon Palace could already see the experts from the three major forces clearly. In fact, the other party would already be within their attack range when they flew out. When the lightning hammer dissipates, it will be the time for the Dragon Palace to strike. Wang Xian lifted his head and ordered the lightning hammer that was about to fall. Yes, all the members of the Dragon Palace answered immediately. I'll block this lightning hammer. The Dragon Palace could withstand the attack of the lightning hammer. However, under the impact of the lightning hammer and the gravity, the Dragon Palace would fall. Roar! Roving Crab let out a deep roar. He transformed into the devouring dragon and swayed his huge body. Boom! At this moment, the thunder hammer descended from the sky, bringing with it the boundless power of thunder as it smashed towards the Dragon Palace. Once the Dragon Palace fell into the deep pit, the three major forces would suppress it immediately. It can't be over so soon. That would be too boring. The experts from the three major forces commented plainly when they saw this. Roar, roar. However, in the Dragon Palace that they couldn't see, Roving Crab dashed towards the sky. He reached out his hideous claws, and the defense of the Dragon Palace automatically opened up a hole. Roving Crab's dragon claws met the lightning hammer directly. When Roving Crab's dragon claws reached out, it immediately attracted the attention of the three major forces. They squinted their eyes, and their eyes were glistening. Boom! The lightning hammer landed on Roving Crab's dragon claws, and the horrifying lightning struck the dragon claws. However, Roving Crab's dragon claws were intertwined with black and gray energy. He clenched his claws together and slammed it forward. Bam! In the next moment, another collision sounded. This time, the lightning hammer that was formed by lightning flickered and was sent flying towards the sky. Indeed, the Dragon Palace isn't that simple. Did they rely on the special ability of the Dragon Palace to come here? The three major forces weren't too surprised to see the Dragon Palace withstanding their attack. Kill! At this moment, a terrifying murderous intent came from the Dragon Palace, and a cold voice reverberated across the sky. Wang Xian took the lead and flew out of the east gate of the Dragon Palace. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. He locked his gaze on the group of figures on the huge battleship. The five elements grindstone floated above his head, and the Tai Chi dragon plate rotated around him. Chapter 3341. Boom, boom, boom. Wang Xian dashed out of the Dragon Palace. His eyes lit up as he sensed the people from the cursed spirit village. Perhaps it was because of the Iron and Steel Union's confidence. The members of the cursed spirit village were all on the warship in front. There were no cursed beings in the other mechas. That's good. Kill. Wang Xian shook his body, unfolded his unbeginning saint wings, and flew towards the battleship ahead with an indomitable will. In the air, he transformed into his divine dragon form and stared coldly at all of them. On the left and right, Aosia and another rank 9 venerable devouring dragons swayed their huge bodies as they charged forward. Humph! You still dare to charge over. You're courting death. The eyes of the leader of the Iron and Steel Union and the generals were filled with coldness. Ha ha ha. Good, good, good. It would be boring if you guys kept hiding in the Dragon Palace. The Lich King and the chief of the Wrapped Corpse tribe were filled with terrifying killing intent. Get ready to kill everyone in Dragon Palace. Leave no one alive. They roared and gave the order to attack. Their eyes were filled with excitement. In the next moment, roars could be heard. All the shamans and disciples let out violent roars. The members of the Wrapped Corpse clan on the right were silent. Like ghosts, they dashed towards the Dragon Palace. Fire. So. As for the senior management of the Iron and Steel Union in the center, they lifted their heads slightly and stared at Wang Xian and the rest who were flying over. The corners of their lips curled up slightly as they spoke softly. With a command, countless energy laws condensed into cannonballs and blasted towards Wang Xian and the rest. The horrifying cannonballs engulfed Wang Xian and the rest. The might of this cannonball was enough to kill a rank 8 universe venerable. When Wang Xian sensed the attacks from the dense bombardment, his eyes narrowed. The Tai Chi dragon wheel around him rotated, and formed a humongous Tai Chi diagram in the air. Boom, boom, boom. In the next moment, countless explosions rang out. All the cannonballs landed on the Tai Chi dragon plate and were all blocked. Seeing that the first round of cannonball attacks was completely blocked, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union narrowed his eyes slightly. What a powerful defensive treasure. A general narrowed his eyes and said, So. At this time, at the entrance of the Dragon Sect, Dragon Palace's first round of attack began. A group of arrow dragons held bows and arrows in their hands and shot out arrows. Their targets were the Wrapped Corpse race and the experts of the Lich Kingdom on the left and right. Among them, some of Mao Zedong's arrow dragons looked a bit strange. After the arrow was shot out, it condensed into the shape of a wind dragon. In the middle of the wind dragon, there was a blurry figure. These arrows' attack power was around that of a level 5 venerable. It wasn't high, but it wasn't low either. They were all locked onto the level 8 venerables of the Shaman country and Wrapped Corpse race. The small dragon palace dares to compete with the bright moon? Die. The Lich King, Wrapped Corpse race, and the rest of the rank 8 venerables were right at the front. Seeing these attacks, a cold glint flashed in their eyes. The heaven-devouring centipede that the Lich King was sitting on spat out black venomous needles. The surrounding Lich Kings waved their arms and swept at the arrows. On the other side, the Wrapped Corpse race expert's corpse cloth rolled up, and all the arrows were wrapped in it, instantly shattering. Kiki, it has begun. Mao Zedong and the rest smiled when they saw the arrows destroyed. Ao. Ah, the strange curse power came very quickly. The heaven-devouring centipede under the Lich King and the 3 rank 8 venerables beside him suddenly screamed in pain. On their bodies, strange dark tattoos appeared. Those dark tattoos invaded their bodies. Death instantly shrouded their hearts. What's going on? The Lich King felt the heaven-devouring centipede under him tremble violently, and his expression changed. Seeing its life force rapidly disappearing, his pupils constricted, and his face was filled with shock. On both sides, the corpses of the 3 rank 8 venerables fell to the ground. What's going on? A shocked and furious voice came from his mouth. What's going on? The clash had just started. How did 4 rank 8 venerables die so mysteriously? What's going on? At the side, the 2 rank 8 venerables from the Wrapped Corpse race screamed in pain. However, after they died, the experts of the Wrapped Corpse clan who were behind them suddenly died strangely. The dark tattoos descended on their shrouds and entered their bodies. This time, not only did they lose 2 rank 8 venerables from the Wrapped Corpse race, there were also tens of thousands of Wrapped Corpse race experts related to these 2 experts who died instantly. The strange way of death caused the Wrapped Corpse race and the Lich Kingdom to go into an uproar. This is the power of the curse. There are cursed beings among the Dragon Palace. In the middle, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union saw the deaths of the experts of the 2 races, and his expression changed. How could there be cursed beings in the Dragon Palace? Be careful, there are cursed beings hidden in those arrows. If you kill them, you will be attacked by the curse. General Jean of the Iron and Steel Union immediately reminded the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse race. Be careful of the beings shrouded in dark tattoos. General Jean added, a cursed creature? When the Lich King and the rest heard this, their expressions turned ugly. Of course, they knew about the cursed beings, and such beings must not be killed. No wonder the Dragon Palace dares to go against us. They have such a trump card. Be careful of those Dragon Palace members shrouded in dark tattoos. The Lich King warned loudly with a solemn expression. Yes. The rest of the experts from the Lich Kingdom responded, and their attacks became more cautious. Kill. Roar. At this time, Aosia and the rest roared as they charged towards the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse race. Aosia and the rest's massive bodies and towering aura locked onto the Lich King, the Wrapped Corpse race leader, and the rest of the experts. Kill. When the Lich King saw Aosia and the rest charging over, he scanned the surroundings. After confirming that there were no cursed dragons, he charged forward. Boom, boom, boom. However, just as they charged forward, Aosia and the other rank 9 devouring dragon suddenly unleashed their strongest attacks. Their terrifying claws tore through the void as they charged towards the group of rank 8 supremacies. This time, the Lich Kingdom had sent 11 rank 8 supremacies. After losing 3, there were only 8 left. The 8 rank 8 Lich Sovereigns were no match for Aosia. Chapter 3342. Invincible Defense, Terrifying Devouring Dragon Middle, was the same over at the Wrapped Corpse tribe. This time, the Wrapped Corpse race had 15 universe venerables that came. 2 had died, but there were still 13. However, when the 2 devouring dragons unleashed their full power, the Lich King, chief of the Wrapped Corpse tribe, and the others were instantly dumbfounded. What was going on? How could their auras be so terrifying? Roar and the rest roared, their dragon claws slashing forward. Not good, Dragon Palace has rank 9 supremacies. At this moment, the Lich Kingdom and Wrapped Corpse tribe experts could not help but roar, their bodies trembling. Dragon Palace actually had rank 9 supremacies. How was this possible? A year ago, the Lich Kingdom had attacked Dragon Palace, and Dragon Palace did not resist at all. If Dragon Palace had such power, the Lich Kingdom would have been destroyed long ago. Yet now, Dragon Palace had suddenly unleashed such terrifying power. 2 9th-level Venerable Realm experts, this Roar and the rest suddenly unleashed rank 9 supremacies, catching the Lich Kingdom and Wrapped Corpse tribe off guard. Even the eyes of the Lich King and the others turned red in an instant. Their expressions changed drastically when they saw the dragon claws coming at them. Dodge! The Lich King roared, hurriedly dodging to the side. However, within the Lich Kingdom, the 3 rank 8 supremacies, experts in arrays, screamed in pain. When they flew over, their bodies were already shrouded in powerful defensive shields. However, they did not expect Dragon Palace to have rank 9 supremacies. The 3 Liches, experts in arrays, died instantly. At the same time, Aosia and the others charged towards the remaining experts and disciples of the Shaman Kingdom behind them with their auras. Just the 3 of you. You want to destroy our Dragon Palace? Die! Roving Crab let out a wild roar, and its enormous dragon tail swept toward them with heavy earth and darkness elemental energies. Not good. Dodge, dodge. When the millions of Lich Kingdom's disciples saw this terrifying dragon tail, their faces were filled with fear. This time, with the 3 great forces joining hands, just the number of universe venerable level powerhouses sent by the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse tribe reached more than 700,000. More than 700,000, and the Iron and Steel Union could not be calculated in terms of numbers. The strength of the 3 great powers was enough to sweep through more than half of the border of the great desolate continent. However, there was still a huge gap between the 700,000 over universe venerables and a rank 9 universe venerable powerhouse and the million universe venerables of the Dragon Palace. Especially Aosia's strength. A level 9 universe venerable was enough to make them pay a heavy price. Roar, 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 kill, kill, kill. Aosia and the other devouring dragon wreaked havoc, locking down all the level 8 and 7 venerables from the Lich Country and the Wrapped Corpse clan. They were all enveloped by the attacks of Aosia and the others. At this moment, the Berserk Dragon species, Imperial Dragon species, Heaven Lightning Earth and Fire Dragon species, and Heaven Lightning Earth and Fire Dragon species had already rushed forward. Behind him, the Arrow Dragons, the Succubus Dragons, and the Witch Dragon launched their long-range attacks. Without the obstruction of the pinnacle battle power, the few level 8 and 7 venerables of the Dragon Palace wreaked havoc. Ao Chi-Tian, Ao Chi, and the rest rushed forward, their bodies emitting a violent aura. No Lich or Wrapped Corpse clan could stop them. Not good. Iron and Steel Union leader, request for reinforcements. Dragon Palace has a level 9 venerable. The Lich King and the rest roared with bloodshot eyes. At this moment, they felt a chill in their hearts. They had never expected Dragon Palace's strength to be so terrifying. If they had known, they would not have come to attack Dragon Palace even if they were beaten to death. They could already foresee that even if they managed to escape this time, they would suffer the revenge of the Dragon Palace. When that time came, The wrapped corpse tribe of the Sorcerer Kingdom would have to flee. Damn it, why does Dragon Palace have such a strong existence? The Iron and Steel Union leader and the group of generals had a huge change in expression, their eyes filled with fear. Cursed Spirit Village members immediately enter the armors and attack the 2 level 9 venerables of the Dragon Palace. The Iron and Steel Union leader ordered loudly, his face extremely dark. Yes, at the back, all the members of the Cursed Spirit Village looked terrible. They had never expected Dragon Palace to be so terrifying. This time, they were besieged by 3 major forces. Yet, they were suppressed by the other party in an instant. Hee, don't worry. I'll play with you guys. Wang Xian stared at them with a violent look in his eyes. He roared and 8 divine dragon avatars appeared around him, attacking the various warships, mechas, and spaceships ahead. Bomb! One of the generals flew into the sky and covered him with his mecha. All sorts of attacks rained down on Wang Xian. Boom, boom, boom. Countless attacks landed on the 8 divine dragon clones, and those divine dragon clones slowly crumbled. Boom, boom, boom. But at this moment, Wang Xian had already rushed over. His massive body reached out with his dragon claws, grabbing at the warships and mechas. In an instant, sparks flew as battleships, mechas, and spaceships plummeted to the ground. Self-destruct the mechas and kill this Dragon King. The Iron and Steel Union leader roared coldly. At this moment, their bodies were shrouded in golden metal and were over 100 meters in size. Although they weren't huge in size, the intricate weapons on them were emitting terrifying golden radiance. Swish, swish, swish. Under his command, hundreds of self-destructing mechas charged towards Wang Xian. These self-destructing mechas were enough to turn a rank 8 universe venerable into ashes. Bam, bam, bam. Seeing the self-destructing mechas, Wang Xian waved his dragon claws, and the 5 elements grindstone appeared above his head. On the 5 elements grindstone, 5 divine dragons stuck their heads out and spat out attacks. Boom, boom, boom. The attacks landed on the self-destructing mechas, causing them to explode instantly. The horrifying shockwaves of the explosion swept across the surroundings. Wang Xian didn't retreat at all. Instead, he flew forward. His target was the battleship that was over 10,000 kilometers away. Damn it! This Dragon King has so many supreme treasures on him. Attack! The Iron and Steel Union leader ordered coldly. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, the 28 generals rose into the sky. They were covered with special mechas and weapons as they charged towards Wang Xian. The alliance of the 28 generals was enough to fight against a rank 9 universe venerable. Wang Xian squinted his eyes. At the position of his dragon horns, an ancient oil lamp appeared. Kill! Wang Xian was fearless as he charged over. Chapter 3343. Terrifying devouring dragon with invincible defense collapse, Dragon King of Annihilation. This reckless guy. Attack. 28 generals of the Iron and Steel Union were wearing battle armor. Terrifying attacks began to accumulate in the bullet holes. They locked onto Wang Xian, who was attacking the battleships, and launched their attacks. Swish, swish, swish. In the next instant, the attacks from the 28 generals engulfed Wang Xian completely. Wang Xian seemed to not see the attacks as he flew towards the battleships and spaceships. Rumble, rumble, rumble. In the next instant, all sorts of horrifying attacks landed on the sky above him. The entire void underwent a horrifying change. Wang Xian's surroundings had turned into a dead zone. Many battleships and spaceships of the Iron and Steel Union were affected by the shockwaves and collapsed immediately. Is he dead? All the generals of the Iron and Steel Union stared at him with glistening eyes. The Dragon King was strong, but the 28 of them could fight against a rank 9 universe supremacy if they joined forces. Even a rank 9 universe supremacy would have a hard time withstanding their bombardment head-on. What? Damn it! Is the defensive treasure on the Dragon King an inborn spiritual treasure? But very soon, the generals of the Iron and Steel Union showed embarrassed expressions. Roar! 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 In the next instant, A humongous divine dragon flew out from the center of the explosion and attacked the surrounding battleships and spaceships. On his body, the Tai Chi dragon board that had collapsed was gradually recovering. Around him, a red glow shrouded him. Wang Xian smiled faintly. After the attacks from the 28 generals had destroyed the defense of the Tai Chi dragon board, only 1/3 of the remaining attacks were left. This attack was easily blocked by the ancient oil lamp on his body. Very effortless. Wang Xian didn't suffer any injuries. Haha, die. He swayed his humongous body and clawed at the battleships and mechas with his dragon claws. Bam, bam, bam. The horrifying destructive power and near-invincible defense made Wang Xian invincible. All sorts of battleships and mechas were destroyed by him. They turned into flames and fell to the ground. Are they moving? At this moment, Wang Xian sensed the mechas flying towards his left and right. Their eyes were locked on Aosia and the rest. SK. Wang Xian moved. He flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and charged towards them. Oh no! Leader, help us block this Dragon King. The group of experts from the cursed spirit village, who were wearing mechas, was appalled when they saw Wang Xian charging towards them. They shouted immediately. Humph! The leader of the Iron and Steel Union looked at this scene with a gloomy expression. He moved, and his golden body directly landed in the center of the warship that was tens of thousands of kilometers in size. Below him, a throne appeared, and he landed directly on it. On the throne, there was a red launcher. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union placed his palm on the red launcher. After layers of identity scanning, the red launcher rose. At this moment, on this incomparably huge battleship, a cannon hole that was tens of thousands of meters wide appeared. The pitch-black cannon seemed to want to destroy everything in front of it. The cannon had locked onto Wang Xian and was accumulating terrifying energy. When Wang Xian was locked on by the terrifying cannon, his expression changed slightly. Leader of the Cursed Dragons, go and deal with the Cursed Spirit Village. Wang Xian immediately transmitted his voice to the direction of the Dragon Palace. In order to defend against the Cursed Spirit Village, the Dragon Palace had created a new type of dragon, the Cursed Dragons. Among the Cursed Dragons, the strongest had already reached the rank 6 universe supremacy level. They, together with the large amount of treasures they had, were sufficient to deal with the people from the Cursed Spirit Village. Moreover, the strongest among the mechas that charged out was only a rank 6 universe supremacy. Now that the Cursed Spirit Village had completely submitted to the Iron and Steel Union, the Iron and Steel Union would not let them send themselves to death with rank 7 or rank 8 universe supremacy armors. Yes, Dragon King. Within the Dragon Palace, the leader of the Cursed Dragons and the rest dashed over immediately. Swoosh. After Wang Xian gave the order, Wang Xian flapped his unbeginning sacred wings and charged towards the location of the terrifying cannon hole at a terrifying speed. The Tai Chi dragon plate floated around him and was shrouded in a red glow. Wang Xian squinted his eyes slightly and checked the energy within the ancient oil lamp. He revealed a tyrannical smile. The energy within the ancient oil lamp was sufficient to withstand powerful attacks for him. Moreover, Wang Xian did not believe that this attack from the Iron and Steel Union could possess the destructive power of a peak universe supremacy. Die, damn Dragon King! The leader of the Iron and Steel Union bellowed furiously. The horrifying energy beam that he had accumulated charged towards Wang Xian. Boom! At this instant, it was as though the entire sky had turned into a dazzling day. Wang! The horrifying energy charged towards Wang Xian. Wang Xian opened his mouth and formed layers of powerful defense in front of him. However, the defense that he released was instantly destroyed and continued to charge towards him. The attack landed on the Tai Chi Dragon Plate. The defense of the Tai Chi Dragon Plate gradually collapsed and continued to fall on the radiance shield of the ancient oil lamp. Wang Xian was surrounded by a bright red glow. The vitality fluid within the ancient oil lamp was being depleted rapidly. However, this horrifying attack was completely withstood. Wang Xian revealed a smile. He just needed to resist for a while more, and everything would be over. Just as he was entangled with the experts from the Iron and Steel Union, screams could be heard from both sides. Aosia and the other two devouring dragons with rank 9 universe supremacy combat power had completely suppressed the experts from the wrapped corpse tribe of the shaman country. Next was the stage for the experts from the Dragon Palace. Although the combined strength of the experts from the Dragon Palace was much lesser than the two major tribes, the Dragon Palace had Unlai. Unlai was currently a rank 5 universe supremacy. Now that he had various treasures on him, there was a 50% chance that he could kill a rank 6 universe supremacy instantly. He shuttled between the supremacies from the shaman country and the wrapped corpse tribe at a strange speed. The moment he appeared, a rank 4 or 5 universe supremacy was killed. Given Unlai's strange and horrifying speed, he could kill dozens of universe supremacies in a second. This could be said to be a very horrifying number. Since the start of the war, the number of universe supremacies that had died in his hands had already reached tens of thousands. For a moment, the two major forces were on tenterhooks. They were afraid that this strange figure would appear beside them. This was like being chosen by the Grim Reaper. Who wouldn't be afraid? Under such circumstances, the arrow dragon of the Dragon Palace, the strange succubus dragon, the tens of thousands of rank 4 universe supremacy witch dragon, and the terrifying long-range attacks made the experts from the shaman country and the wrapped corpse tribe tremble in fear. Chapter 3344. Annihilating the three great forces on Oh no, Lich King. We are not a match for the Dragon Palace. There are too many mysterious experts among them. Chief, we can't hold on anymore. We can't hold on anymore. The Dragon Palace is too terrifying. At this moment, the disciples of the Lich Kingdom and Wrapped Corpse tribe shouted in fear. The battle had been going on for 5 minutes. Within these 5 minutes, many of their companions were killed. Many disciples were dying every second. They were afraid that they would be the next ones to die. Damn it! The Iron and Steel Union can't even deal with the Dragon King. How are we going to fight? The Lich King and the leader of the Wrapped Corpse tribe trembled violently. They roared with extremely ugly expressions. They relied on the treasures in their hands to barely contend against the devouring dragon that was a rank 9 venerable. Even so, it wouldn't take long for them to be defeated. However, they had been waiting for reinforcements from the Iron and Steel Union. Until now, they hadn't even gotten rid of a Dragon King. This made them feel slightly fearful. They were aware of the strength of the Iron and Steel Union. Yet, the Dragon King had yet to be annihilated. The strength of the Dragon King was definitely not simple. Listening to the screams of their subordinates, their expressions changed constantly. If this continued, all of them would die here. Run, run now. Run back to your own holy kingdom. The Lich King gritted his teeth and ordered loudly. Defeated. They were utterly defeated. Now that the Dragon Palace had 2 universe venerables at the level 9, they could not win this battle. It was impossible to annihilate the Dragon Palace. Moreover, the members of the Dragon Palace had also unleashed terrifying and mysterious attacks. They weren't a match for the Dragon Palace at all. Run. Forget about the consequences. It was fine as long as they could escape now. Run, run, run. Upon hearing the Lich King's order, all the experts and disciples of the Lich Kingdom heaved a sigh of relief and immediately shouted, Kill! Don't let them escape so easily. At the forefront, the berserk dragons raged ahead while the experts and disciples of the Lich Kingdom fled back to their own holy kingdoms. With every minute that passed, tens of thousands of experts and disciples of the Lich Kingdom would die. Disciples of the Wrapped Corpse tribe, flee immediately. On the other side, the leader of the Wrapped Corpse tribe heard the Lich King's order and swept his gaze across the battlefield. He gritted his teeth and ordered. The Lich Kingdom had escaped, but if they hadn't, their losses would have been even greater. Flee, flee, flee. Immediately, the experts of the Wrapped Corpse race fled back to their own divine kingdoms. Ha ha ha, if you want to escape, at least half of you have to stay here. Aosia and the rest roared and attacked even more ferociously. The faces of the Lich King and the Shrouded Corpse tribe leader sank when they saw this. Instantly escaping back to his Cosmos God Nation also required some time to prepare. Especially in this kind of battlefield, where all kinds of energy were wreaking havoc, it was very easy to be interrupted. If a portion of the disciples managed to escape, the other portion would have to suffer double the attacks. Under such circumstances, at least one-third of the disciples would have to stay here forever. However, there was nothing they could do about it. What? Even that didn't break his defense? At the same time, on the huge warship in the center, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union stared ahead. He stared at the Dragon King, who was engulfed by the energy of the battleship. However, when he saw the figure of the Dragon King appear, his face changed drastically. This time, they didn't pay too much attention to the Dragon Palace. With the three factions working together, the Dragon Palace would not have any resistance. However, now he knew that he was gravely mistaken. Just the Dragon King in front of them was already a huge problem for the Iron and Steel Union. At this moment, they saw the experts of the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse race escaping, and their faces changed. The Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse race actually escaped. Damn it. The Iron and Steel Union leader's face changed slightly. They could not be like the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse race, escaping directly to their own divine kingdoms. They had already fused with the machines, and if they wanted to escape, they could only fly. Once the two races escaped, the Iron and Steel Union would have to face the two rank 9 supremacies of the Dragon Palace directly. This time, the strongest attack they had sent out was only this strategic warship. There were even more offensive weapons, but they were in the base and could not be moved. I'm afraid we're in big trouble, the Iron and Steel Union leader muttered, his face changing constantly. Roar, 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 die. At this time, over at the Lich Kingdom side, the Lich King's figure flickered, strangely leaving the battlefield hundreds of millions of kilometers away. Aosia ignored the Lich King and charged towards the rest of the rank 8 supremacies from the Lich Kingdom. No, no, no. Run, run. Screams could be heard. Without the Lich King, the rest of the rank 8 supremacies could not contend against Aosia. They hurriedly escaped. However, it was impossible for all of them to escape. Instantly, 4 rank 8 supremacies were swept away by Aosia's claws. The terrifying attack killed them instantly. Other than that, none of the rank 7 supremacies managed to escape. All of them were easily killed by Aosia. On the other side, the Wrapped Corpse race was the same. To escape from the Devouring Dragon's attack, they had to pay a heavy price. This price was the lives of a few rank 8 supremacies, as well as a group of rank 7 supremacies. When the Lich King and the rest escaped, Aosia and the rest swept their gazes, turning towards the Iron and Steel Union. Kill. With a loud roar, Aosia and the other Devouring Dragon flew towards Wang Xian. There was no need for them to annihilate the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse race, as there was another wave of attack waiting for them. Shit. At this moment, all the experts and disciples of the Iron and Steel Union saw Aosia and the rest flying over. Their faces changed, and their eyes were filled with fear. The 28 generals looked grim, and immediately unleashed a barrage of attacks towards Aosia and the rest. However, facing the barrage of attacks, Aosia and the rest waved their ferocious dragon claws, welcoming the attacks. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Explosions rang out. The 28 generals posed no threat to Aosia and the others. Annihilate the Iron and Steel Union. Leave no one alive. Wang Xian's eerie voice reverberated across the starry sky. This time, the first to be annihilated was the Iron and Steel Union. With the speed of rank 9 supremacies, he wanted to see where they could escape to. Annihilate the Dragon Palace? Suppress the Dragon Palace? Let's see who will be annihilated. Chapter 3345. Annihilating 3 major forces in Roar Roar. The divine dragon swayed and let out a series of roars. Woo woo woo. In the sky, Xiaolan also let out a terrifying roar that reverberated across the sky. Wang Xian stared coldly at everyone from the Iron and Steel Union. At the side, Aosia and the other devouring dragons swayed their huge bodies and attacked the battleships that spanned over 10,000 kilometers. Shit. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union saw this and his heart skipped a beat. Ka. He moved his arm and pressed the red button in front of him. The cannons were aimed at Wang Xian and Aosia with an awful expression. Go to hell. He pressed the attack button continuously, and terrifying energy began to gather again. Aosia and the other devouring dragon looked over with disdain in their eyes. They lifted their heads and spat out dark quicksand from their mouths. The dark quicksand was directed at the incoming attack. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Terrifying collisions resounded, and the light beam was obliterated by the dark quicksand. However, there was still a stream of dark quicksand that continued to attack the battleship that spanned over 10,000 meters. Block. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union shouted immediately. Block. The attack that the battleship he was on had unleashed was comparable to a Rank 9 universe supremacy. However, this battleship did not mean that it could go against a Rank 9 universe supremacy. Every attack of this level required energy to be charged, not to mention the difference in mobility. The combined attack of two Rank 9 universe supremacies could easily destroy the attack of the battleship. Block. The 28 generals looked at the dark quicksand and roared with a grim expression. Cursed Spirit Village, attack the two guys from Dragon Palace. Hurry. General Jean looked to the side and shouted sternly. Now, they could only rely on the people of the Cursed Spirit Village to perish together with the two experts from Dragon Palace. General Jean, we are trapped. There are also cursed living beings in Dragon Palace. Their strength is terrifying. The chief of the Cursed Spirit Village bellowed with a hideous look. He was piloting a Rank 6 venerable mech, facing the pitch-black cursed dragon in front of him. His expression was unusually ugly. This was the first time he had seen a cursed creature with such great power. To them, this was simply unbelievable. Damn it! When General Jean heard this, his face was filled with rage. At the same time, his heart was filled with fear. The Cursed Spirit Village had been suppressed and even killed by the Dragon Palace's cursed creatures. Now, they were facing the powerful defense of the Dragon King and the two level 9 supremacies from the Dragon Palace. How to fight? How to fight? They were no match for him at all. Boom, boom, boom. At this time, the sound of the surrounding battleships exploding could be heard. One by one, the battleships fell to the ground. Retreat. All disciples of the Iron and Steel Union, retreat immediately. On the warship, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union stood up and ordered loudly with a gloomy face. Retreat. Failed. The siege of the Dragon Palace was a complete failure. The experts and disciples of the Shaman Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse tribe either fled or were killed. If they continued to fight, the Iron and Steel Union would be completely finished. The order to retreat was still a disaster for the Iron and Steel Union. This was because they had to fly if they wanted to escape. Swish, swish, swish. Fortunately, their orders were well executed. When the Iron and Steel Union gave the order to retreat, all the battleships and spaceships were prepared to leave the battlefield. Boom, boom, boom. The 10,000-meter battleship also let out a unique roar as it charged up energy and began to move at full speed. Trying to escape? Is that possible? This time, even if I have to chase to the base of the Iron and Steel Union, I will annihilate all of you. Wang Xian's eyes were filled with violent murderous intent. Chase. Don't let any of them off. He immediately ordered loudly. Arrow Dragon Species, Mystic Dragon Species, Witch Dragon Species, Starwood Dragon Species, board Shaolan's body immediately and chase. Prime Minister Turtle immediately ordered from the back. Yes. A group of dragons that specialized in long-range attacks and containment immediately flew to the body of Shaolan's body. They stood above the body of Shaolan's body and continued to launch long-range attacks. Bam, bam, bam. A series of attacks were launched and various explosions were heard. The battleships fell. Aosia and the rest swayed their huge bodies and flew towards the battleship in the middle. Intercept. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union bellowed. 28 generals immediately released various attacks towards Aosia and the rest. At the same time, the 10,000-kilometer-long battleship was densely packed with cannon holes. Attacks of various attributes were launched towards the rear to prevent Aosia and the rest from charging over. Many battleships and mecha were also hovering above the main battleship. As they retreated, they launched fierce attacks at Aosia and the rest. The dense attacks were indeed useful as they greatly interfered with Aosia and the rest. Aosia and the rest swept their dragon tails, and a dragon tail condensed from the laws attacked the largest battleship. Boom, boom, boom. In the next instant, countless cannonballs were launched towards their dragon tails. The sounds of collisions were incessant. Leader, we don't have enough energy to support us back to the City of Steel. A general came to the leader of the Iron and Steel Union and bellowed with an awful expression. The expression of the leader of the Iron and Steel Union kept changing constantly. The experts of the Dragon Palace were chasing and suppressing them with massive cannonballs. They could only last for a few days at most. But after a few days, when the cannonballs were depleted, it would be time for the experts of the Dragon Palace to wreak havoc on them. By then, they wouldn't be able to resist. Hold on for as long as you can. Get ready to abandon the battleship and escape. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union said with a gloomy expression, as long as we return to the City of Steel, the Dragon Palace won't be able to do anything to us. Yes. The general's expression changed as he replied solemnly. The tides of the battle had turned. Initially, they thought that the Dragon Palace was holing up in the Dragon Palace. Unexpectedly, they were fleeing back to the base and holing up in the base. Given the defense of the Iron and Steel Union's base, two universe supremacies wouldn't be able to breach it. However, they could be said to have suffered a crushing defeat in this battle. In the future, they wouldn't have a good time after offending the Dragon Palace. Above the vast primordial continent, the battleship of the Iron and Steel Union was resisting while escaping. Countless battleships, spaceships, and mechas accompanied them, exploding from time to time as they plummeted. Behind them, the experts of the Dragon Palace were in hot pursuit. Chapter 3346. The Dragon Palace had landed on chaotic continent. The Lich Kingdom had teamed up with the Wrapped Corpse Tribe and the Iron and Steel Union to besiege the Dragon Palace. This had become the focus of all the forces at the border of chaotic continent and the continental starry sky. However, no one dared to come and watch the battle between the four forces. It was too vast and too terrifying. Only on the AI, countless people were discussing. 2 hours after the battle broke out, the AI guessed that the battle might have ended. Some guessed that the Dragon Palace had been completely suppressed. Some guessed that the Dragon Palace had been breached and massacred. Some guessed that the Dragon Palace had escaped. There were all kinds of guesses and discussions. However, no one thought that the Dragon Palace was a match for the three forces. The reason for this was because the three great forces were too powerful. The strength that the Dragon Palace had displayed was weaker than any of the three forces. How could they fight against the three forces with such strength? However, in the third hour of the discussion, something that shocked everyone happened. The Phoenix Mark tribe was a force at the border of chaotic continent. They were not far from the Nine Origins pit, just a few hours away. More than 10 hours ago, the warship of the Iron and Steel Union had flown over their territory. However, at this moment, the tribe sounded an alert, and a defensive fire shield enveloped the tribe's lair. The sound of an explosion came from the front. What happened? The disciples of the Phoenix Mark tribe flew up into the sky. At this moment, they saw the warships of the Iron and Steel Union flying away at a terrifying speed. Behind them, the warships fell, emitting sparks. The terrifyingly powerful divine dragons swayed their huge bodies as they attacked from behind. When the warriors of the Phoenix Mark clan saw this, they dropped their jaws, their faces disbelieving. What's going on? The warships of the Iron and Steel Union are fleeing, and the divine dragons are chasing after them? Hiss, gosh, look at those two dragons. Their auras are so terrifying. Are they experts with the combat power of a rank 9 venerable? The Dragon Palace is chasing after the warships of the Iron and Steel Union. The Dragon Palace is chasing after them. The Phoenix Mark tribe members exclaimed in shock. They watched dumbfounded as the Iron and Steel Union fled into the distance. Behind them, the experts of Dragon Palace continued their pursuit. Along the way, all kinds of fighter jets and spaceships crashed. Not long after, they saw 4 huge Dragon Palaces following closely behind them, collecting some of the fallen mechas and battleships. The members of the Phoenix Mark clan gawked in shock. Very quickly, this information reached the universe AI. Not only were there oral messages, but there were also videos and images. When the experts and disciples from the peripheral forces and races of the continent encircling starry sky and heaven-opening desolate continent saw this result, their faces were filled with disbelief. This is incredible. The Dragon Palace is chasing the Iron and Steel Union. Doesn't it mean that the Dragon Palace has won this battle? Three forces besieged the Dragon Palace, but ended up being hunted down by the Dragon Palace. If it wasn't for the video, I wouldn't have believed it. How could the Dragon Palace have such terrifying strength? The Dragon Palace actually has a rank 9 universe venerable. A year ago, the Dragon Palace couldn't do anything to the Lich Kingdom. Now, a year later, they are chasing after the Iron and Steel Union. How did they improve so fast? Countless experts and disciples were in an uproar as they discussed among themselves. No one had expected this outcome. No one had expected the three forces to lose. No one had expected the Iron and Steel Union to be destroyed and chased by the Dragon Palace. The Dragon Palace was too terrifying. Even the Iron and Steel Union was being chased. What about the Lich Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse Tribe? Did they escape? Or were they annihilated? On the AI, all the creatures were guessing. The Battle of the Dragon Palace had shocked all the forces. 2 rank 9 universe venerables. Damn it. How could the Dragon Palace have such experts? This doesn't make sense. At the same time, in the Lich Kingdom's Lich City, the Lich King came to the throne in the main hall after escaping back to his own kingdom. One by one, the experts of the Lich Kingdom who had escaped also rushed over. They saw the information on the universe AI, and their faces were ugly. The Lich King's breathing was rapid. 2 rank 9 universe venerables were enough to annihilate the Lich Kingdom. Even if they managed to escape this time, they would face the revenge of the Dragon Palace in the future. What could they use to resist? What was even more inconceivable was how did the Dragon Palace suddenly have 2 rank 9 universe venerables? A year ago, they had even besieged the Dragon Palace. If the Dragon Palace had such experts then, the Lich Kingdom would have been finished. They did not then. 2 rank 9 universe venerables in a year. How could they believe it? How many casualties did we suffer this time? The Lich King asked with a dark face. Reporting to Lord Lich King, only 5 rank 8 universe venerables returned. About 40 rank 7 universe venerables perished. A third of the remaining experts and disciples were either injured or killed. That's close to 2 million. A Lich reported in a deep voice. Lord Lich King, now what do we do? Once the Dragon Palace experts attack, we won't be able to resist. A Lich said with a dark face. Now that they were enemies with the Dragon Palace, once the Dragon Palace experts attacked, the Lich Kingdom would not be able to resist. Now, they had to find a way out for themselves. The Lich King's face kept changing as he heard his subordinates' words. Hoo-hoo. He took in a deep breath, his eyes showing a hint of helplessness. Let's discuss and find a place to hide. Now, they could only find a secluded place to hide. They were like stray dogs. In the main hall, the group of Lich Kingdom experts fell silent, then started to discuss. Among the group of Lich Kingdom experts, a rank 7 universe venerable's eyes shone brightly, quietly waiting for the best opportunity. Gather all the remaining elite disciples in the cities. Get them to rush over immediately. Half an hour later, the Lich King gave an order. Next, they had to start their escape plan. Find a secluded place to hide. Once the order was given, the elites from the other 8 cities of the Lich Kingdom quickly gathered. At this moment, in a corner of the Lich City, a figure was observing everything, his face revealing a smile. They could attack soon. Those who offend the Dragon Palace die. Chapter 3347. None can escape on Lich King. All the experts and elite disciples from the 8 cities are here. In the Lich City of the Lich Kingdom, there were still 9 cities remaining after Wang Xian destroyed 3. Under the command of the Lich King, all the elite experts gathered in the Lich City. At this moment, there were more than 10 million liches gathered in front of the Lich City and Blessed Land. The liches in various forms exuded a strong murderous aura. However, there was a trace of fear in their eyes at this moment. The Lich Kingdom, Wrapped Corpse Tribe, and Iron Union had joined forces to attack the Dragon Palace, but were defeated. They had already received the news. It was especially so after knowing that the Dragon Palace had rank 9 universe venerables. They knew that the Lich Kingdom was completely defeated. They also knew that the Lich King had gathered them here to escape. As for where they were escaping to, they had no idea. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, they saw the experts of the Lich Kingdom flying over. Their hearts sank when they saw the experts beside the Lich King. In the past, the Lich Kingdom had more than a dozen rank 8 universe venerables. However, there were only 5 of them now. This was a huge blow to the Lich Kingdom. All members of the Lich Kingdom, listen up. We have encountered an unprecedentedly strong enemy. Next, we have to avoid being hunted by them. I have already found our hiding place. All disciples, follow behind. The Lich King hovered in front and was no longer as high-spirited as before. He stood there with a gloomy face and spoke in a deep voice. Yes, Lich King. The disciples of the Lich Kingdom replied with a heavy heart. Get ready. Let's go. The Lich King's voice was once again transmitted into the minds of all his subordinates. Rumble. However, at this moment, a terrifyingly huge dragon claw suddenly attacked the Lich King and the Lich powerhouses around him. What? At this moment, the cells in the Lich King's body exploded. The eyes on the Devil Dragon's head widened and were filled with disbelief and horror. He quickly turned around and a huge shield appeared in front of him. Rumble. A terrifying sound was heard, accompanied by a horrifying dark quicksand that shrouded the surroundings. Not good. An expert is attacking. This is the terrifying existence of the Dragon Palace. Why are they here? At this moment, everyone in the Lich Kingdom widened their eyes in fear, especially the Lich King and the other 4 rank 8 universe supremacies that were enveloped by the devouring dragon. They were filled with fear. Why was that terrifying devouring dragon in their shaman city? How was this possible? However, facing the sudden attack of a Type 9 Venerable, under that terrifying energy attack, they let out a final roar of resistance. Bam! However, under the attack of the devouring dragon, even though the Lich King used his postnatal treasure to block it, he was still heavily injured. The other 4 rank 8 Venerables were in an even worse state. They were directly killed. Around them, the terrifying black quicksand covered hundreds of millions of kilometers. In front of them, there were many elite disciples of the Lich Kingdom. Because of the Lich King's summons, they all gathered together. Under such circumstances, many of them had no time to escape. Especially the Universe Venerable Level 7 and below, with their speed, how could they dodge the attacks of a Universe Venerable Level 9? As the black quicksand rushed over, countless liches screamed in pain. Against such a terrifying attack, they could not block it at all. No, no, no. The Lich King saw this, his face filled with despair as he roared. Why did you suddenly come to our shaman city? Why? You want to destroy our dragon palace, die. The devouring dragon's eyes were filled with malevolence as it attacked the Lich King with its claws. The Lich King, who was already heavily injured, saw this attack and his face turned pale. A shadow of a demonic dragon bloomed above his dragon head and blocked the attack of the devouring dragon. Boom! A terrifying collision sound resounded as the Lich King's body sank tens of thousands of meters into the ground. HM? The devouring dragon looked at him in shock, surprised that he was still alive. Kakik, leave it to me. At this moment, a black shadow instantly attacked the Lich King. In an instant, the black shadow entered the Lich King's body. The heavily injured Lich King's body trembled violently as his pupils turned pitch black, gradually giving up on defending. Upon seeing this, the devouring dragon lifted its head and scanned its surroundings. It swayed its huge body and charged towards the surrounding liches. Boom! The terrifying dragon tail, the violent attack, instantly turned the place into a lich hell. Run, run! Our shaman kingdom is going to be destroyed. Lord Lich King is killed. Run, run, run! Desperate cries resounded throughout the entire shaman city as the liches fled in fear. They widened their bloodshot eyes as they tried to escape. Boom, boom, boom. However, against the Universe Venerable Level 9 Devouring Dragon's rampage and the terrifying attacks, a large number of liches were killed. Out of 10,000, it would be lucky if one could escape. The difference was too huge. In less than 5 minutes, the entire shaman city was in a state of apocalypse. The devouring dragon wreaked havoc and massacred. The destruction of the shaman city also meant the complete annihilation of the shaman kingdom. However, at this moment, it wasn't just the shaman kingdom. Far away, in the Shrouded Corpse Race's territory, the Shrouded Corpse Race's lair was located in a desert. Huge pyramids were erected on the ground. However, at this moment, a terrifying devouring dragon caused a pyramid to collapse with one claw. Countless Shrouded Corpse Race's disciples fled in fear. Suddenly, the surrounding sand rose into the air, condensed into a huge divine dragon, and attacked the surrounding Shrouded Corpse Race disciples. The sky was filled with golden sand as endless terror descended upon the Shrouded Corpse Race. Screams could be heard incessantly. The leader of the Shrouded Corpse Race looked at this scene in despair as his body trembled violently. No, no, no. Dragon Palace, you will all die a horrible death. They let out miserable screams of despair as they cursed helplessly. The devouring dragon that had been hiding in the two great forces in advance had completely become the two great forces' nightmare. Those who wanted to destroy the Dragon Palace couldn't escape. On this day, the Shaman Kingdom was destroyed. The Shrouded Corpse Race was destroyed. The Iron and Steel Union was still fleeing. Chapter 33:48. Rumble, Rumble, Rumble. The annihilation of the Shaman Kingdom and the Shrouded Corpse Tribe had yet to be known by the other forces. As for the Iron and Steel Union, the huge battleships were fleeing above the chaotic continent. The explosions from time to time caused tremors in the surroundings. They flew over the various forces and caused a huge commotion. More and more videos of the Iron and Steel Union's pathetic escape. Everyone was shocked and appalled when they saw the information on the artificial intelligence. Wang Xian chased from behind and locked his cold eyes on them. He wanted to see how long the Iron and Steel Union could last. The chase continued, and time passed little by little. At this time, Wang Xian received a message from Orochi and the other two Devour Dragons. When he saw this message, he smiled. The Shaman Kingdom and the Shrouded Corpse Tribe had been annihilated. Only a few experts had escaped. Tianjun, get in line to bring you and Witch Dragon to the Shrouded Corpse Tribe and the Shaman Kingdom. Find all the treasures and heavenly nations. In addition, Enlai, bring the two Devourer Dragons over. Wang Xian ordered through telepathy immediately. Yes, Dragon King. Tianjun, Enlai, and the rest answered immediately. The Shaman Kingdom and the Shrouded Corpse Tribe had been annihilated. The resources and treasures of these two major tribes were terrifying. This time, Wang Xian should have enough resources for a breakthrough. The Iron and Steel Union is still flying towards their base without giving up. They should be relying on the defense of the base. As the strongest force at the edge of the prehistoric continent, they should be able to resist the attack of a rank 9 venerable, maybe even 1 or 2. In this case, I can't let the other two Devourer Dragons take action to prevent them from escaping. Let's wait for the Iron and Steel Union's base. Wang Xian pondered as he watched the Iron and Steel Union fleeing desperately. As the days passed, a large number of spaceships, battleships, and mechas were destroyed by Wang Xian and Aoxia. The number of battleships of the Iron and Steel Union was decreasing and their attack power was getting weaker. On the 4th day, Wang Xian saw a spaceship flying towards the main battleship of the Iron and Steel Union. The speed of these spaceships was terrifying, comparable to the top speed of a rank 8 universe supremacy. Some members of the Iron and Steel Union entered the spaceship and evacuated quickly. Dragon King, their firepower is running low. We will be able to destroy that huge battleship very soon. Roving Crab transmitted his voice to Wang Xian from the side, and Wang Xian squinted his eyes and said, "The other party might give up on this battleship. Let's ignore everything else and chase after them." The divine dragon roared, "Damn Dragon Palace! If you dare to come to the base of our Iron and Steel Union, I'll make you suffer." A day later, on the main battleship of the Iron and Steel Union, The leader of the Iron and Steel Union stared at the group of divine dragons with hatred in his eyes. "Leader, all the energy is going to run out soon. Let's retreat quickly." A general said to the leader of the Iron and Steel Union, "Go." The leader of the Iron and Steel Union gritted his teeth and roared in a low voice. Boom, boom, boom. They moved and flew forward quickly. Behind them, all the spaceships and battleships seemed to have entered a berserk mode. Not only did they stop flying, but they also charged towards Wang Xian and the rest. This included the terrifying warship that was tens of thousands of kilometers long. It contained a terrifying might and released all sorts of terrifying energy attacks. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union has escaped and destroyed all these warships. Wang Xian scanned the area before him as he ordered Aoxia and the rest. Aoxia and the rest roared as they resisted the attacks of these battleships before they were destroyed. Within a radius of more than 1 billion kilometers, all sorts of horrifying attacks covered the area. Even Aoxia and the rest could not get rid of them immediately. After holding Wang Xian and the rest back for an hour, many battleships and spaceships were turned into ruins. "Let's go. Hurry over immediately. We can't let them know about the annihilation of the Sorcerer Kingdom and the Wrapped Corpse tribe. Once they know, they will be on their guard." The wreckage of the spaceships would be handled by the members of the Dragon Palace behind. Wang Xian stared ahead and ordered immediately. "Woo-woo." Xiao Lan roared as Wang Xian and the rest continued flying in the direction of the Iron and Steel Union. The Iron and Steel Union delayed Wang Xian and the rest for an hour with their battleships and spaceships. However, Wang Xian and the rest were faster than the other party. Although they could not catch up with the other party within a short period of time, they could close in quickly. The speed of both parties was extremely horrifying. That damn Dragon Palace. Damn Dragon King. How dare they continue to chase after us? At the front, the leader of the Iron and Steel Union and a group of generals saw that Wang Xian and the rest were still chasing after them through some detection means. Cold, murderous intent flashed in their eyes. It won't be long before they reach the base of the Iron and Steel Union. By then, we will let them know our firepower. A general said with a gloomy face. Activate the SSS grade defense system of the base. Activate the SSS grade attack system of the base. Prepare the anti-air firepower. Data flashed in the eyes of the leader of the Iron and Steel Union as he issued remote orders with a cold face. Boom, boom, boom. As they flew towards the base, the entire base of the Iron and Steel Union let out a roar. Various machines protruded from the terrifying black cannon holes. Various energy weapons began to charge. In the middle of the huge building, there was a black cannon hole that spanned over 1,000 kilometers. This cannon hole was connected to the depths of the ground. Palpitating energy began to spread to the surroundings. Apart from this cannon hole, there was also something that looked like a golden sawtooth that was slowly drilling out from the ground. The entire sawtooth was over 10,000 kilometers in size. It stood motionless between the heavens and the earth like a sleeping tiger. Swish, swish, swish. At this time, in the base of the Iron and Steel Union, a large number of battleships, spaceships, and mechas flew to the sky. When the weapons of the entire Iron and Steel Union moved, all the people of the Iron and Steel Union also entered the battle state. Compared to the forces of the Iron and Steel Union, the forces left in the base were stronger and more horrifying. There were more than 1 billion sets of various armors, densely covering the entire sky. The power of science fiction looked equally magnificent from afar. Although the Iron and Steel Union has lost this time, it's wishful thinking to destroy us. The Iron and Steel Union has stood in the chaotic continent for so long. How can we be destroyed so easily? When the leader of the Iron and Steel Union saw that all the war weapons in the base had been activated, his eyes were filled with coldness. Any force that wants to destroy us will have to pay a heavy price. The same goes for the Dragon Palace. Apex. Chapter 3349. Any forces that wish to annihilate us will have to pay a heavy price. Same goes for the Dragon Palace. Swish, swish, swish. The leader and generals of the Iron and Steel Union were flying towards them rapidly. Their eyes were filled with coldness. We're in our territory. The group of generals looked at the rising battleships the billions of warships, and the densely packed cannon holes. Their eyes were filled with menace. All disciples of the Iron and Steel Union, prepare for battle. Let's make sure the enemy doesn't return. A general roared with a violent look. This was their base, and it had been built into an impenetrable fortress. Anyone who entered the base of the Iron and Steel Union would be subjected to horrifying attacks. Swish, swish, swish. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union and the 28 generals immediately came to the front of the powerful battleships and weapons. They looked towards the rear with murderous intent. The horrifying golden sawtooth that stood in the base of the Iron and Steel Union. The terrifying cannon holes in the center of the Iron and Steel Union. All kinds of horrifying weapons were aimed at the rear, waiting for the arrival of the experts from the Dragon Palace. Dragon King, the territory of the Iron and Steel Union, is in front. The sky above their base is filled with countless battleships and weapons. Enlai's figure appeared beside Wang Xian and reported. The Iron and Steel Union had been fleeing towards their base. They must have the confidence to withstand the attack of 2 rank 9 devouring dragons. Therefore, Wang Xian ordered Enlai to investigate in advance. Are they ready to welcome us? It seems like they have the strength to fight against Aosia and the rest. Wang Xian's eyes flickered and revealed a menacing look. Attack and destroy the Iron and Steel Union. Wang Xian bellowed. Roar, 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 roar. Roar after roar came from the left and right. At the rear, Xiaolan accompanied them. Above them, the dragons of the Dragon Palace that were good at long-range attacks were following. In the middle, 2 devouring dragons in human form stood there quietly, waiting for orders. We're here. 10 minutes later, a magnificent and vast territory filled with technology appeared in their sight. However, at this moment, the sky above this magnificent technological territory was densely packed with warships. A menacing aura rushed over. They're here. Everyone in the Iron and Steel Union was also staring at the flying divine dragon. Dragon King of Dragon Palace, get out of the territory of our Iron and Steel Union. Our grievances will end here, and we will never invade each other in the future. The voice of the leader of the Iron and Steel Union spread to the front. He looked at the majestic divine dragon with a gloomy face. Now that the Dragon Palace had shown such a powerful strength, the Iron and Steel Union no longer wanted to be their mortal enemy. Hee hee. When Wang Xian heard the voice from the base of the Iron and Steel Union, his eyes were filled with mockery. When you want to attack our Dragon Palace, attack us. When you want to reconcile, reconcile with us. How can there be such a good thing in the world? Today, our Dragon Palace will turn your Iron and Steel Union into ruins. Wang Xian bellowed coldly. You don't know what's good for you. Attack and destroy those guys from Dragon Palace. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union roared furiously. Buzz. So. In the next moment, countless mecha battleships let out a deafening roar. Densely packed attacks that covered the sky shrouded Wang Xian and the rest. Himph. You think you can destroy us with just 2 rank 9 venerables? Wishful thinking. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union snorted coldly. He squinted his eyes as he stood in front of the huge cannon hole. Buzz. The fearsome energy in the cannon hole began to condense. A warhead that was like a missile was launched towards Aosia. In front, the sawtooth-like golden weapon began to spin and attacked another rank 9 devouring dragon. The horrifying attack engulfed Wang Xian and the rest in an instant. Attack! Wang Xian let out a deep roar as he swayed his huge body. With a wave of his dragon claws, the Tai Chi dragon wheel shrouded the area. Aosia and the others moved and directly faced the terrifying bullets and golden sawtooth that made their hearts palpitate. Kill. On the body of Xiaolan, the 2 devouring dragons also moved instantly. They faced the dense attacks and flew towards the mecha battleships above the base of the Iron and Steel Union. Boom, boom, boom. Soon, the sounds of explosions reverberated. The details of the various cannonballs and the horrifying attacks plunged the front into a gray world where nothing could be seen. Swish, swish, swish. At this moment, 2 figures dashed out of the gray world of cannon fire and continued to fly towards the sky above the Iron and Steel Union. Her? The generals of the Iron and Steel Union were slightly shocked when the two figures dashed over, lock onto the two guys from the Dragon Palace, and annihilate them. Immediately, a general ordered loudly and launched several attacks at the same time. However, at the moment when they launched their attacks, the two devouring dragons let out a violent roar. They instantly transformed into a huge body of 100,000 meters and released a ferocious and terrifying aura towards the surroundings. They opened their mouths and a dark quicksand shrouded in front of them. Boom, boom, boom. In an instant, the cannon fire that attacked them was shattered. Countless quicksand landed on the battleships and mechas and exploded. The attack of the two devouring dragons instantly caused tens of millions of battleships and mechas to crumble. This sudden scene stunned everyone in the Iron and Steel Union. What? How is this possible? Aren't the two rank 9 universe supremacies pinned down by the Dragon Palace members? A general looked over with a drastic change in his expression as he roared. However, what awaited them was the attack of the two devouring dragons once again. Swish, swish, swish. Boom, boom, boom. They swayed their huge bodies and charged directly into the battleships and mechas. As they waved their 18 dragon claws, the horrifying dark claws covered an area of 100 million square meters. The dragon tail swept across, causing the battleships and mechas to explode instantly and plummet to the ground, wreaking havoc, completely wreaking havoc. How is this possible? The Dragon Palace actually hit a rank 9 universe supremacy. The leader of the Iron and Steel Union exclaimed in disbelief and anger. His blood-red eyes stared at the two devouring dragons that had charged into the sky. Just now, their attacks had completely locked onto Roving Crab and Wang Xian. However, he did not expect the Dragon Palace to have another rank 9 universe supremacy. They have been hiding their strength. They want to annihilate us completely. Damn it! The leader of the Iron and Steel Union trembled violently. He quickly adjusted the cannons beside him and attacked the devouring dragons that had charged in. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.